just text. He says he's ready. So I'm gonna go to the messenger and tell him how to join. All right.
All right,
So
all right.
hold
We
on. All right.
live now, Rob.
Huh?
I
Oh,
said
oh yeah, he pushed it. All right.
Who did?
I did.
Here we go. All right, so yeah, I guess go tell him to come join. Let's get it started. Let's get it shared out while you guys are taking care of that, so we can get this go ahead on the ball
Yeah,
and rolling.
now, Romy, you can go ahead and get him on the line and do what
Yeah, I
you
will. I will. Hold on.
You guys are taking care of that, so we can get this. Yeah, buddy. What's up? What's up? What's going on with everybody? Nathan, what's going on, man? Hey, let's get this shared out real quick. We got Hakim on here, Three Amigos right now. Remy is trying to get um
Fabian and Ife.
yeah, Fabian on. Let me go ahead and get this shared out. Yeah, let's get this going, man. What's going on with everybody jumping in, man?
Good.
Y'all throw them likes up, man. Everybody that's jumping on, y'all make sure y'all go ahead, share the live, drop y'all kennel names in the comments, drop y'all studs. If y'all got puppies for sale, let everybody know in the comments. We are finna get this going, man. Tonight is going to be an interesting live. You
I
feel
got a
me?
lot of questions in the mind.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people got questions for you, man, over there with that boy. You feel me?
Hey, Fabian, you're there? Fabian. I think he's trying to get it.
If he has an iPhone, tell him he has to copy the link and paste it.
Right.
Yeah, what's going on? Hey, you guys. Okay, here go Fabian right here. Got Fabian.
All right, cool.
Now we just missing Fa.
Let me talk to him. One sec. He hasn't seen my messages, but I'm gonna message him on his phone.
Mr. Fabian, I'm glad you decided to join the live. I got like 1,001 questions for you, my guy.
What up,
You
Fabian?
feel me?
What's
What up,
good?
Fabian?
Oh, done
What's
chill,
good, man?
chill.
What's good?
Not much.
I hope those 1,001 questions are easy.
hey,
I think they are. I'm sure you probably answered them because I know you had did a live
what's
a
good,
couple
Joe?
a couple years ago.
Okay.
And I think you answered some, but I kind of jumped on a little bit after when people were asking you about the crossover and you feel me, stuff like that.
What's up, Romy?
What up, Fabian? Fabian, my
Mafia
man.
line bullies, Brian Hogan.
You
Oh
you
yeah,
owe
yeah.
me the visit, brother.
I know. I gotta see. I like your new spot, man.
Man, I want you to come and see what I'm talking about.
You living that perfect life right now. You know what I'm saying? You got your dogs, you got your land, you got your wifey.
The ranch. We got the ranch. I
Hey,
appreciate it though. I wish
That's
I
what.
was at the beach still though, like you.
Well,
You're spending your days on the beach every day. I see.
yeah. I can't knock it. I can't knock it at all. I ain't gonna lie. I can't knock it at all.
Well, I live in a city. At least one of y'all in a ranch and the other one on the beach. Man, I'm sitting here, bro. Buildings.
What city you in?
I'm in Fairfield. I'm in Northern California.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, you just up the
Oh,
road.
you're here. All right.
I'm
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
Fayetteville.
I
yeah.
I I thought you were in a different state, Robert.
Nah, nah. I mean, I might as well be. You up in SoCal, bro. You could get to like 3 states before you get to me.
So Kelvin, what do you actually breed, Kelvin, right now, or what do you breed in the past?
Oh, in the past, I come from the working dog lines from the past. I
Sweet.
recently got into the micro and exotics, and recently, so I have a micro right now.
You're what right now,
I have
Marco?
a micro right now, micro
Oh,
exotic.
micros.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And when did you decide to do that switch?
Uh, when I switched over is because basically because of health. I had about 2 years ago when COVID first came out, I contracted COVID and it damaged. So I was no longer able to do any type of bike Malawas police work, military work. So I stopped with them and couldn't leave dogs alone. So I ended up going to a smaller breed where I wouldn't have to do as much. It wouldn't take a lot of stamina to do, because you know, go for it takes a lot of work on your body. So that's how I came into the bully world. I've always been into the bully type breeds. You know, as a young kid, it was of course like pit bulls. And then in the early '90s, I got into the American bulldogs, but they couldn't do any police dogs. You know, as far as ones to be able to do police work. So I ended up with the German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois.
Nice.
That
And when you went to the exotic and the micro world, do you care do you care about the complete functional dog, or you just doing it the exotic like by the book as exotic how we see them nowadays out there where they if it's not got that crazy elbow team high rare and and that kind of stuff, or they don't care about tail or no tail, that's what they call them more exotic. So which direction you went?
for me, it's more functionality. You know, I guess that's coming from the type of dogs I work with. So I do like the functionality of them, and I like the health. So the health and the functionality is to me the most important. Tail, no tail doesn't really matter to me. So it's not a big preference on that.
I gotta have
really
a tail.
Doesn't matter to me either. But like I said, I'm more with the functionality type and health, and also with the show dogs. I like to do the sanction ring with the dogs.
Okay. Well, you can't show dogs if they got no tail.
Yeah, you gotta have a tail.
Well, it depends. So if you go into like with ICBR, PR has they have a lot of shows this way in North Carolina and South Carolina, Georgia, and so forth.
Well, I think what he means. My bad for interrupting you, Three Amigos, but I think what he means is you can't show dog for well, actually, I think what he meant was you can't show dogs for points that don't
Yeah.
have a tail. But you got the ICBR, the IBR, the ABR, USBR. You
Yeah,
do have all of these registries that
exactly. That's what I'm saying. With some of the registries now, especially ICBR, they have the registration. So they have two categories: a standard and a toy. So up to 6 months old, you can show your dog, but you just don't accrue points. After 6 months, you can accrue your points, and then once they turn a year old, then they get measured, and that'll determine if they're going into the toy exotic or they're going to go into the standard. Anything over 13 inches will be the standard. Anything under 12 is going to be toy class. So it just depends on the registry that it goes into. And tail is not a fault in those categories as far as the exotic category.
All right.
Is a micro exotic or not? My opinion, I don't think it's exotic.
No, a micro is a category, but the exotic is just the look, really.
Okay.
So they had the two categories, the toy and the standard. They just add exotic to it. To differentiate between American bully class and the micro class.
Yeah. What do you feel about dogs with no tail, Fabian?
I personally like a tail. I'm
Okay.
a tail guy. I have nothing against dogs with no tail. I own dogs with no tails, but I prefer a tail.
So wait, you own the bully with no tails?
Yeah, I've had one. When I went in a part of my life, breeding exotics, most of the dogs didn't have any tails and so forth. But that's just that part of my chapter in my life was. I don't want to say I was lost, but I kind of sold my soul in that moment, and I had to find myself.
How how
You didn't kinda sell your soul, bro. You kind of went really deep, deep, deep.
No, what happened? What happened? I mean, yeah, I'll take away kinda. Yeah, correct. What happened was I I I sold out because I was like, shit, they're making so much money in over there, and I lost vision of who I was. So for a year and a half, when I went that route, was probably the lowest part in my life. 'Cause a lot of other things was going on. It was actually the changing of the guards in the bully world from because we went from pit bulls. If any, I mean, Ife will know this. We went from pit bulls, right? And I'll just speak on Remy. I can't speak on other dogs. Remy for me was the bridge from a pit bull and an American bully. So when you wanted a pit bull type of personality, because that's who you really were, Remy had that. But then he just had a bigger head, more body, more stuff. So he was that bridge to go into the American bully. Sorry for that. To go into that American bully world. I always like Drive. Ife, Romy, and all these guys that know me will say, every dog I have, you'll see them hanging from a rope. You'll see them doing rope work from exotics to Frenchies to whatever, because I like drive and I like a dog that could do something, right?
Yeah.
When I and I use the word I sold out my soul and went to the exotic.
Hey,
I
okay.
appreciate.
They're just exotics, man. It's not like you joined the
No,
Illuminati or something.
Let me finish. No, let me finish. When I say sold my soul, it's not sold my soul for the exotic world. I sold myself for who I am and what I like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'm Guyanese, and if all of a sudden I'm claiming a Korean culture, it's like, yo, that's cool. You like Korean culture, but you're a Guyanese dude. You can still be with Koreans, but you're still Guyanese. So when I say I sold my soul, it wasn't that exotics are bad. It's just it wasn't the lane for me.
Yeah,
I
because I
couldn't.
think when you showed the first exotics you had a few years back, I think didn't some of them have Easty Westy? Wasn't some of them
Yeah,
high
I mean, I
rear?
had some nice stuff. I had some nice stuff, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I think exotics are badass looking dogs. My only problem that I have with any dogs is if the dog can't walk right. I don't care how badass it is. I got a problem with that.
Right.
But looking at dogs that are badass, I love it. But I just can't understand any individual that's going to own a dog and it's okay with that dog not walking right. I don't get it. It's not for me to understand. It's not for me to judge. But it's just not my lane because that's not what I'm into. I'm into like going to my backyard and working dogs. You know.
Okay, so look, while we're on here, because there's a lot of new people that's coming into the game who probably don't even know who you are. So can you kind of let everybody know who you are, the history real quick behind Fabian?
I mean, my story's pretty easy. I got dog. I branded one dog, one line. I created Remyline off of a dog. Remyline to me was more than just a bloodline. It was an actual movement of people that this dog just pretty much. If you saw the dog, it was just for me perfect, and it created something that sparked people and a culture. Remyline Remyline was so much of a culture than just the dogs that when the dogs and Remyline started looking bad, it didn't even matter because the culture was so strong, you know. Um, so that's who I am. And
So
you really want me to tell?
I don't, Fabian. I don't recall your chapter of breeding exotics. When that happened? What year was that?
That was what, like two? Well, after Remy passed away, another 3 more years. So that was like 2010. Was it 2010?
if it was, that means you had some shit tucked and you
I
didn't
don't
tell
think they had
nobody.
exotics in 2010, bro.
Okay, then it wasn't 2010.
Well,
Then.
not. I think what I remember. I
When
think
when I was calling you about your boy, what year was that?
I remember you had a black exotic dog. I remember.
Yeah, I
that.
think that was like 20. I think that was like 2016, bro.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
there we go. Yeah,
or
yeah, like
something like that when he had
2016.
that black dog.
Yeah, like 2016. I had some stuff, man. and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And for me, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna brand it, you know. And I was hard, I was in it and so forth. Where it became hard for me is when I was producing dogs, and then owners of these dogs would call me because the dog would have a heart murmur, or the dog
Right.
was. So I only could blame myself, and it was like, you know what, Faith, I don't want to be having to take dogs back in or knowing I did that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it was just for me, it just wasn't the lane, and it didn't have to be exotics. It could have been any type of dogs. I felt that if I'm not giving you a quality dog and I'm just looking at the money, then really that's not who I am. And I ain't no goody two shoe. I ain't no savior. I ain't no holy spirited person. I got my shit like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But I'll just keep it 100.
So, question for you. So, just because you got out of the American Bullies back then, what happened with the RKC?
The RKC was a registry that I created for the all of the bully world. Everybody kind of wanted to brand it as a Remyline registry, which it wasn't a Remyline registry. RKC for me, I wanted RKC to be like the AKC, and ABKC would be like UKC. That's how my level of how I wanted RKC to be. The problem that happened with RKC is the fact that the name Remy is so branded, and the name Remyline is so branded hard, that the worst thing I did was call it the RKC registry. Because when you hear RKC, all you associate with is Remyline.
Yes.
Remyline. It's for Remyline dogs. So when it took a while for people that were bringing other dogs into the RKC, that brand of Remyline was so strong, I couldn't change it. So then shows started falling off, and if people aren't doing shows, you know. But as for the registry, people still registering their dogs. We still send out registries all the time, but it was just something that just I couldn't keep pushing something, and I was getting a lot of people on the Remyline side that was saying, "Hey, you're not bringing this in, you're not bringing this in, blah 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 blah." So it was just one of those things where it was time, the world was changing.
So, I mean, so my thing is, so when you crossed over, man, I'm not gonna lie. I used to be a follower of Remy. I was never really into the blood, but I know a badass dog when I see one. You
Right.
know, and he was definitely a badass dog. So when you crossed over, to me, I felt like, I mean, shit, you grown ass man. If you want to cross over, cross over. But it was so many lives were being done and this and that, and I was just like, wow, like just leave him alone, because even in my head, I'm like, he got to be going through something if his ass breeding exotics. You feel me? I'm like
No,
something's going on.
when I made a crossover, and I wouldn't even say it was like a crossover. When I decided to explore a different route in the dogs, because it wasn't like I stopped breeding Remy dogs or breeding those type of dogs. It was just that I was just I was chasing the dollar, straight up.
I
You
like that.
know, I was
Yeah, because
chasing the dollar.
I think you said on there, I think on your live, you was like, look, man, I done put my kids through college already with this money. And it's like when you start to talk about those type of things that people are doing, I mean, come on, how can you blame anybody? You feel me? Because at the end of the day, yes, we do need morals and values when it comes to these dogs because we are dealing with live animals. But I mean, at the same time, when you start to value, animals more than humans, I think you're going a little too far.
Yeah.
FA, what's
But
happening, man?
Yo, yo, man. Sorry, I was I was on this other podcast, man, that they asked me to be on weeks ago, and
well,
it ran a little bit late.
What podcast is that? Give him a shout out, man.
It's not really. It's called
Oh,
This Is It. It's with Bria Sadler. It was on
oh, okay,
Instagram.
yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah,
a
yeah. Okay.
bulldog breeder.
Come on.
Just wanted to show her some love. She asked me and Jamie Sweet to come on, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
just
She's
on that.
supposed to be coming on the platform too. Bria, she out there doing her thing, man.
How's it going, FA? Good to see you again.
Hey, good to see y'all, man. How y'all holding up?
All right, all
Hey,
all
right.
look,
right,
everybody that's on the
Ife, happy Independence Day.
Hey, I
Hakeem,
appreciate you, my
Hakeem,
brother.
let me tell Hakeem.
Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
Oh, happy Independence Day,
Hey, look,
Hakeem.
everybody that's on the live right now, if you guys don't know who's on here or you guys want to tap in with the fellas that's on here, all you got to do is hit one in the comments. You will receive a link with everybody's link to their page. that's on the live tonight. You know, so you guys ain't got to leave the live. You guys can just hit that one, go back, check your inbox later, and then go check out all the fellas' dogs.
Hakim,
What up? What up?
man, Hakim, one of the breeders that he definitely bred to every single famous stud on the planet.
Oh, I don't know about it. I didn't get to breed to. I didn't get to breed to Riff Raff.
Oh, how come?
I don't
Riff
know.
Raff
It
is too
we never,
expensive.
it never worked out.
But for
Yeah,
literally bred to every single stud, famous stud on the planet,
I
except
mean,
Bape,
just,
probably. You know, Bape is a famous stud. I mean, but he didn't breed him. Maybe because, again, I know you like the tail, you like the complete dog, so you probably
but
didn't.
I think I was Louis V. One of the first breedings to Louis V.
Hey, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, fellas. Is somebody on here watching the live on a different device?
I'm watching it on my iPad.
Hey, yeah, you got to turn it down. It's actually
Yeah, because
echoing on the viewership.
What are you? Should I go on my phone?
No. Are you on your iPad?
I'm on my iPad. Yeah.
The
Oh
same
no, that's fine. No, are you listening to it on something else?
No.
Is anybody?
No.
maybe I'm on my phone. No, I'm on my phone.
Okay, because it kind of sound like, hey, or is it just me, or do you guys hear echo? Somebody
Yeah, we
put in the
do.
comments if you hear echo.
We do. I do hear the echo.
I don't hear it.
I don't hear echo.
Well, kind of stops right
yeah.
now.
I don't hear echo at all
I
either.
think
I think it's you, Fa.
Ife, you got to come out of your car, Ife.
Yeah. Effie got us a speakerphone in his car.
Yeah, in the car. That's probably why.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, sound better now.
Yeah.
yeah.
We will, Aoife, we will need 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes on comedy on air.
Yeah. So Fabian, do you? Well, first of all, I want to spread this out, man. So Fa, for the people that don't know, and I do think that that's a great story. You know, from how you acquired Riff Raff, you feel me, to getting, you know, with the coloring book, the 3D movie, and all the way to your new stuff. What is it, Pogo?
I don't think he's listening. Aoife, he's not listening. He doesn't hear us.
He
When he
probably
turned the
can't
volume,
hear.
he turned everything on.
Yeah.
Hey, try to go out and come back in, Fa. Joe
Aoife,
Nathan Bradley, what's happening?
all right. Well, Hakim,
Yeah.
with all the studs that you bred to, how many puppies you think you have produced? Because I've seen you continuously breeding with no stop, with every
Um,
stud again on the game.
I think for us, like when I breed, I like to be if I choose a stud, I like to be like within the first 5 or 10 litters for this stud. I don't like, and it's hurt me at times when I with this mentality because for example, I had a Rocco stud credit when he was 2,500, and I chose not to breed to Rocco because at the time everybody was breeding to Rocco, and when I look back on it, actually the stud credit I had for Rocco, I ended up selling to Angelo Souther and Angelo JJ Mullins that own Detox. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Champion Detox, who just died. JJ was my neighbor, and that stud credit ended up creating Detox. So when that mentality, it hurt me on the Rocco side. But I think just for exclusiveness, I don't like to follow the trend of everybody. So if I do breed to a popular stud, I like to be in the early stages of that stud's breeding career.
And
Wow. Okay. On speaking on that, if you go on early, do you look at the background on the dogs, like their litter mates, what they produce?
So for me, when I
Progeny?
I'm really big on phenotype.
Uh-huh.
When I put breedings together, like pedigrees are like one of the last things I look at. The actual two parents,
Yeah.
their litter mates, what if they do have offsprings on the ground, those come before the pedigree for me.
Right.
Because I know some of these pedigrees kind of, So to me, I think I get better results when I physically look at the dog and the female. So like, we just dropped a litter with 5150. One and then me and Remy work a lot because I ship dog food. So I've seen 5150 in person. And one of the things I loved about 5150 was he still acted like a dog. Like, he was like he didn't play. He had a lot of drive. I loved how he was built. Even though he's blue, which is not for me, I'm not color crazy, but I know in the market when selling dogs, a lot of these new people they get caught up in color. So for us, the micro thing is new for us, and I know it's something that's new within the bully community, but for us going into the micro thing, we didn't want to lose the drive. We still wanted to have a dog, even though we wanted to make it smaller. We still wanted a dog that can run around and do the things. And the females we bring to the table on the micro side do that. So we didn't want to go to a male that would take away from our females. So 5150's like we're really, really happy with what he gave us. Man, we had some great puppies from him. I've been talking to Ife too. We was looking at what's the name? The male that died, I forgot his name. We was really, really looking at him hard. So these are guys I've known in the game. Even Fabian, I've watched all of Fabian's stuff from back in the day. But Ife, Remy, these are guys I've always watched throughout the years since I've been within the bully community. And I think one thing that's big within the community is consistency. And these are guys I've known maybe now, I don't know, maybe like 10 years in the game. And these guys are still consistent. So that tells you a lot. This is a game where you see a high turnover rate. Like people don't last in this. So if you want to know the people that's really putting in work, is the people that's still around 5, 10, 20 years later and are consistent with it. So that's something, I pride us on, where no matter what you can say, we still producing quality bulls.
Yeah, because see, what's happening now that I see is a lot of people are coming into this game, bro, and they're spending that 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K at time after time after time, and then can't sell them dogs, and then they be gone fast.
I know people that came in the game that probably spent easily probably over 100K, starting off with like 5, 10 dogs, and they're nowhere to be found right now.
Man, hey, I came into the game and I spent over 100K, and guess what? Every dog I bought, I had to pet home once I really knew that. Once I really figured the game.
That the thing about this game, that's part of this game, though. I mean, I have studs I paid for that died that I've never going to use. I have dogs out. It's part of the game, but also you have to be very strategic and smart in how you move. And I think again, those people that last the longest, that are still around, it tells you their skill levels when it comes out to breeders. Because again, to me, for you to last in this game, you have to be very strategic and be smart in how you move, and that's how you last and be in the game.
I got one better for you.
I came in the game about 2002. I want to say I did my first breeding probably about 2004, 2005. But see, it was like I was more, business minded. After a minute, then I realized, okay, I just want to be here. I ain't going nowhere. You feel me? So I started strategizing, in my opinion, a correct way to be able to be here. Like, started realizing that every dog ain't $5,000. Every dog ain't $10,000, regardless of who you breeding to.
Yeah.
You had them $1,500 dogs, them $2,000 dogs. And I'm talking when you're fresh in the game. And I just always maintain, like, okay, this is a business. If I make any profit the first couple years, I'm cool. You feel me? But if I don't, as long as I can keep making money to put back into my business without it coming out of my own pocket, you feel me? Then I can last long enough.
And that's
a lot of people. Yeah, you feel me?
You have to be like, it takes a lot of luck. There's a lot of luck that's involved with this, because again, we're dealing with live animals. You have to be strategic. And for me, I think like Fabian, people like Fabian, what I learned from them is you gotta brand yourself. I don't care. I might not be as big as Kamp, but Animalville is still around, and we still have multiple customers that come back to us and buy puppies. And I still have new customers. I just dropped a pup off in Atlanta. I mean, dude spent a lot of money on that pup from the last 5150 breeding we did. But people still come to us because we have long history.
I heard you make 80K on that litter.
Yeah, we made some good money on it. We made some good
I'm
money.
not counting your dollar, bro. I'm just
You know,
I
I
don't
mean,
know. It sound like
at the end
he in
of the
your
day,
He sound
bro.
like he's in your pocket to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
he
But
stay in my
I've
pocket.
said this.
His dog
I've
food
said
stay in
this
my
on
pocket.
multiple lives, and I've said it on mine several times. 5150 to me is the best exotic out there right now. I don't know what you consider
oh,
him,
Yeah, I think he's a
but
micro,
wait,
man.
wait.
I
He
don't.
no
okay.
exotic.
But see, that's what I'm
I
saying.
can't
But see,
call
that's
him
a
exotic,
conversation.
bro.
Why do you consider
I
him
don't
exotic?
consider myself an
I mean,
exotic.
okay. But see, why do you consider a micro if there's really
So
technically
to me,
no?
50 is
He's a
really
micro
American
size,
bully.
but he's not
He's just an
exotic.
American bully that
And
doesn't
he's
fit.
a small American bully.
But
But
if
when you,
you notice,
He's the
even
definition of American
the
bully.
biggest registry is adjusting to what's popular now. Even ABKC has lowered their standard on what
Yeah.
a bully is, even though it's still they're not going to label it a micro, but now they've lowered the height. So business is business. When they see what's popular, they're going to adjust it, but they probably not going to call it a micro, but they've adjusted to it too.
listen, I
You
listen. A lot of people are saying he's not exotic, but check this out, man. That is the way an exotic is supposed to look, in my opinion.
Okay.
In my opinion, because yes, he does carry the American Bully features, but when you think about every class of the American Bully, no matter what it was just a taller or smaller example of the same dog, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
American Bully is supposed to be. They're all supposed to look alike, but be different categories, different
yes,
height.
so when you look at 5150, he's just another class of technically the American Bully. So when you separate it by what people call exotic, because I mean, if we go with the names, bro, they got exotic, they got micro exotic, they got standard exotic, they
They
got
got
pocket
nanos now.
exotic,
Called nano.
they got micro nano. You feel me? So I'm just not with all of them names because I was here when the exotic first came along. But I can go with the micro. I can go with that.
So is Miyagi exotic to you? Because Miyagi's facial features to
Nah,
me.
I've seen Miyagi in person,
No,
bro.
I'm not talking. I've never seen him first, but I've heard from people like Ife, other people that have seen him that now he's a tall dog. But I'm saying based on his facial features, he doesn't look like the average American bully in the face.
I agree with that, but the exotic is not. He was too damn big,
And the
bro. Yes,
point I'm saying is, what is an exotic? Because to me, exotic is a bully that looks crazy, like Capone to me. Capone is a big pocket, but Capone is a crazy looking American bully.
you talking about the
The black
clean
dog, big ass neck that Mark D owned in Virginia.
Oh, well, I thought you was talking about Devontae, who came up with the clean exotic movement. I thought you was talking about that Capone because
Nah.
he's kind of like that too, but he's about 13 inches. But the dog, bro, nice jaw structure, nice muscles, bro, nice muscle tone, very active, but he doesn't have a tail. And he was at the time too short
It does.
to.
It won't do the cut for me if he got no tail. I don't care how beautiful he is. I'm gonna call him a beautiful bully, but he's not gonna do the cut for me. That's just my personal opinion.
I'm a tail guy too. I think a dog without a tail is not complete.
A
Actually,
dog
to me, they
complete.
still
That's why
dogs. A dog
I
without a tail is not
promote
complete to me.
50 as a complete mini gorilla, mini dog, mini bully, complete.
So FA,
I got about 25 bullies. Okay, I own about 25 bullies. Not one with a king tail. Not short tail. Even king tail, I don't accept it.
see, I don't want no kink either. I just don't have no tails. You feel me? So they can't get kinked. I don't have
Like Pogo 51, they have a certain look to
right.
me that I like. And when you try to be exclusive and kind of create your own little thing, you want to look for certain looks, certain things that stand out from everybody else. And that's like Pogo, that's what I like about him. He has a crazy looking look to him.
Yeah.
Well, see,
So
I never considered me having a complete bull. I never consider me having a complete bull because, like I said, I want a tail, and I do feel like if you want a complete dog, that it does have to have a tail. But I mean, obviously with 5150, Ramy has created the foundation to be able to produce a dog like that can continue, and he produces his look too. That's what I love about him the most. Them feet, and I don't even have a feet
Yeah,
fetish,
that's
but 50,
important.
bruh, them
I'm gonna
feet.
tell you another thing. I'm gonna give
See?
Fabian and Ramy credit. This is another thing that I like that they do. For a person like our camp that might pay them to use their stud, one thing I noticed about these guys stay promoting their dogs, and that's very important when you're breeding to them, and it's very important when it comes out to the marketing and selling point for me as a person bringing. Because I'm big on females, so when I stud, having a stud that has the look and the things we want physically, then you have the owner that goes over and beyond and push the dog and is willing to work with you. That makes it very, very easy. Like I'm gonna give them credit. Like I had a couple of customers that came like, I just wanted something for $51.50, and I didn't think that was an insult. That means Romy did his job. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that to me that's big that I look for in stud owners. Somebody I can work with, that's easy to work with, and somebody that stays promoting their dog and their dog throws the look I'm looking for.
So Hakim, do you have any dogs that you've produced in your time being here that people may know about?
So with us, me, my partner Cortez. So Animalville was started in Chicago in 2005 with my partner Cortez. Now we're located. I'm in Houston now. I'm originally from Chicago. We have a headquarters in Chicago with two partners.
What Cortez? What's his last name on Facebook? What's his last name on Facebook?
Herron, Cortez Herron.
Okay.
Alton Banks, ABKC judge. Alton, Fabian knows Alton. Fabian, yeah. Alton, one of the people that mess with Remy. Actually, my first bully I got from Alton. He was pretty much my mentor. He's the one that taught me everything about Fabian. But our first real breeding that really put us, I would say, nationally noticed was when we bred to a female we got named Brat. We bred Brat to Louis V.
I remember
that breeding put us nationally recognized because she produced really well with him, and Dave Wilson bought a dog from me. Dave Wilson had hit me up on Facebook. I didn't think it was him. He hit me up on Facebook, interested in the puppy. We went back and forth. We agreed on the price. He bought the puppy, and that relationship with me and him built through that purchase, and that helped me where I built a relationship with ABKC. Got me to it pretty much got me out there. And that's really Brett. And we ended up selling Brett to London for a real good price. And she went out there and did her thing. We had 3 litters with her. She had one with Louis V, Yogi. I don't know if you're familiar with James Branham, the guy that owned what was that dog James had that was real popular? I forgot his name. Everybody was trying to breed to him. You remember
Stanley?
Stanley.
Oh, yeah.
His first ever bully. We bred our female to his first bully named Yogi, and we bred to a dog named Diesel. Then we sold Brat to London. So Brat really is what put us.
So he produced the original Stanley, because I know what happened with that was when he faded away a little bit. Khan came out with a dog named Stanley, and then kind of started like, okay, this is the Stanley that everybody talks about.
I never heard about that Stanley. I didn't know Khan named Stanley.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, Khan produced Stanley.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Khan produced Stanley. That's what I'm saying. James bought Stanley from him.
Yeah, correct.
I remember that.
Oh my bad. Somebody
Stanley was a dope dog.
No, I never saw him. No, yeah, I did see Stanley. Stanley was dope. Stanley was. Would you say the original micro? Or would you consider him exotic?
Hold on, real quick. Hey, Romy, is this somebody else you invited in here?
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's my good friend right here from Los Angeles area. He goes by name of. You want me to introduce your street name or?
It don't matter, man. I'm DJ, man.
All right, for sure. All right, so look,
he's an OG here from LA area. He got some name around here.
Man, it's like it's turning into a SoCal live. You feel me? All right.
So the question is, I want to ask Fabian, and I definitely want to ask the same question to Ife and Kelvin as well. What is the first bully? I'm saying bully that got you attracted to the bully. Not we're talking about Remyline, because Remyline was more of a razor's edge, and I'm saying the bully that you looked at and you saw
the dog. Yeah, that's easy. That's easy for me. I mean, the dog that changed my whole perspective was 21 Blackjack.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give you a quick story, right? So 21 Blackjack was bought by Ed Shepard.
Right.
He picked him up like around 12 o'clock at night and so forth, drove him back home. And then a couple of weeks later, he bred to he was breeding race certified stuff. He had a dog named Sheba.
Hey, real quick. Are you talking about the 21 Blackjack that produced Cracker and Loco and all of them?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, so Ed bred that dog to Sheba. Sheba had a sister named Darla also. So, back then you're surfing the net. You go into people's website, you know what I'm saying? And you look at their links, and then you click on the links, and that link will take you to someone else's website. You click on their links.
I thought Mike produced 21 Blackjack.
No.
Wow. Okay, that's dope.
No, Mike the Producer went blackjack. So anyways, I hit up Ed, went to his house, and I was the first person to buy a dog from Ed Shepherd, a puppy. I bought a puppy named him Buddha, $1,200, and back then I was like, fuck, $1,200. I was buying pits for like about $300, $250, $50. You know what I'm saying? So when I walked in, I saw 21 Blackjack, bro. I mean, muscled up, thick, I mean, just I was like done.
He was extreme.
I mean, just done. Yeah, you know. So I bought. So Ed and I always laugh about that, and I says, Ed, it's funny seeing ourselves now, but most people don't know I was your first customer. Don't know shit about this. You know, the bully world hasn't really started yet. You know, it hasn't really even really started yet. But that's my first dog, man. 21 Blackjack. Never forget that dog.
Yeah, see, my first dog came
the one
off
did it
of
for you.
21 Blackjack, and then I bought another dog off
Who was
of
the mom? What breeding was that? 21 Blackjack.
bro, I forgot, that was way back.
Yeah.
And then so when I see 21 Blackjack, I was in. So then I went puppy off of Cracker, puppy off of Loco, and then they started breeding. Bay Bullies produced a dog named Honey off of Cracker, and that bitch was bad. So I bought some more shit off of her. So that was really my whole program back then.
That's how I started. And then see, because back then, Mike and Ed, they were kind of working together. They were kind of partners in that. You know, Mike had a dog named Gator. Gator was like his main stud. You know, before he got Cracker and all those other ones. But 21 Blackjack, big dog.
So 21 Blackjack is the one did it for you to get into the bully. Like you actually get attracted to the bully look.
There wasn't at that time. There wasn't really a bully yet. That didn't even exist at that time. You called
pit bull.
It was a pit bull. There were pit bulls, right?
And
but
everybody camp name was pit bull something or pit bull this or pit bull that.
So my first kennel name was called Big Fate Pits. That was my first kennel name before I became Low Jack Kennels. So what was happening back then, though, you would see a dog and you'll be like, man, that bitch is bully, you know. But you were just saying it was bully because if someone asks you, is my dog a bully? If they have to ask you if my dog's a bully, you don't got a bully. Because when you saw a bully back then, you'll say, man, damn, that dog is bully. So the American bully didn't even exist. The name wasn't even there at that time. It was pit bulls. The movement started coming later on as then you started getting like, because back then it was Gray Line, was race certified.
Right.
Was old boys that had Big Boy. Who was old boys with Big Boy? I can't remember them no more. Ife, you should know this one. Big Boys. They had the black dog, Gotti's brother. I mean, Monster's brother. There was like Jack LaHoya, all those guys, right?
Jack LaHoya? Yeah.
Right. Then they had June. June was doing the band dogs way before all this stuff happened, you know? So the real person that started, I think, that was above everyone in all this was Gary Moore, you know, because he had his own little dog food. He had his own little Gray Line brand. I mean, he was actually started the movement in the pit bull, bigger pit bulls, working pit bulls. Because at that time, the big red nose and stuff were into pulling. They were falling off. So at that time, the bully wasn't there, Romney. So I can't say he was a bully. He was the first dog that tracked me into starting to help build the bully world. Does that make sense?
Right. But you still didn't. Your eyes didn't see a dog. Was like, you know, that it's different than what you bred and you're very attracted to. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. The first time I saw Primo, I was in love with that.
See, that's how I was when it came to when I first set eyes on Corrupt in person. I was like, wow, okay, now this is what I'm going for. You feel me? At the time, you know, because when that Razor's Edge met Gotti line, I mean, at the same time, I think it made the game better, but I think it also kind of screwed it up a little bit.
Yeah. How about you, Ife?
For me, that's it's kind of a trick question because I did so much research before I actually went to go see these dogs in person and put hands on dogs. So like I was researching like crazy. So I was in love with like the Remy line, like Jack Daniels, Soldier Boy. Those were dogs that I would just like constantly on the website, hitting links, just looking at all these different dogs. And then I went to Devil's Den, met up with Chris Seller, and that's when I seen Cream for the first time. And then that's when I was like, this is the style of dog that I like. And then I went to a dog show and saw Trevino's Hades. And that's when I was like blown away. Like blown away. I saw Trevino's Hades. It's like crazy ass dog, huge head, crazy body, just my style of dog. And I bred to him immediately. And then I went and saw Michaelin's yard. And then when I saw Michaelin's Nitro, even to this day, until recently, he's the best dog I've ever seen in my life.
Nitro,
Michaelin's Nitro. So
dope.
he's the one that made me. He's the dog that made me switch my program. He's the dog that said, "I don't want to do Razor's Edge no more. I don't want to do this Devil's Den Viper blood. I don't want to do corrupt blood. I want to focus on that Michaelin's look." So Michaelin's Nitro is the one where I just like, wow, where you see a dog and then you think about that dog 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, Michaelin's Nitro was that dog for me.
Yeah, see, I seen Michaelin's Nitro in 2000 and I want to say it was 10 or 11 at a San Antonio show. You feel me? I flew down to a San Antonio show that Mike threw. I mean, he had some fire behind him. That was a beautiful dog. His muscle definition, his muscle tone, man, his neck piece. Yeah, man, that was a beautiful dog.
Yeah, he is. That's why I laugh when everybody, every time people always say Dax is a, bulldog this, bulldog that, and I'm like, if
No,
you really seen Michaelin's Nitro, you would know exactly what Dax is. He really
Yeah.
looks like a extreme version, bully version of Michaelin's Nitro. So
So, FA, question for you, man. So, a lot of people feel like you got to spend 20, 30, 40, $50,000 to get a good dog. Can you tell the people how you acquired Riff Raff?
yeah, absolutely. So sometimes you got to spend that to get a good dog if you don't do your due diligence and you don't do your research. Faber tell you same way he got Remy. It was one of those things where like, if you build a relationship with somebody and you're a good negotiator, you're a good businessman, then you can make things happen. But I got Riff Raff for $1,000 from a Jeff at Headstrong Kennels when he was about 3.5 months. So I had already spent about 25K with Jeff prior to buying Riff Raff. I had bought my boy Picasso from him, and I had bought a couple females from him. So the relationship was already established. So when I went to Jeff's yard to go pick up one of my females, Riff Raff's litter was about 2 weeks old. So I got to see Riff Raff in about 2 weeks. Oh, that's a nice little litter. Blah 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 blah. So I came back again when Riff Raff was about 3 months to pick up another female, and Jeff just let her run around, let the whole litter run around, and Riff Raff was the last pick in the litter. Nobody wanted that dog. Nobody looked at that dog because he was really big bone, but he had a really ugly face, and he was just awkward. Like he couldn't walk in a straight line. Like nobody wanted the dog. So it's just something about him that stuck out to me. So I had left. With my female, and I hit up Jeff like 3 or 4 days later because I couldn't stop thinking about Riff Raff. And I asked him, I said, how much do you want for that last pick male in that Target litter? And Jeff was like, man, you don't spend so much money with me. Bring me $1,000 and you can take them. So that weekend I came up, Jeff wasn't even at home, but we had a good relationship. So he's like, hey, this is where the key is at. Put the $1,000 in the freezer, in the dog facility or whatever, and grab Riff Raff, and then I'll just call you later. So I put the $1,000 in the freezer, grab Riff Raff. The rest is history.
It's nice. Hey, commercial break real quick. For everybody that is on the live, if you guys want a link to everybody that's on here to check out their dogs, all you got to do is hit one in the comments. And another thing, man, y'all share the live, man. We got all the OGs on here. You feel me? Hey, let's talk about it, man. Y'all get the live out there. All right, go ahead, my guy.
Yeah, so that was it, man. And then I got Riff Raff. You know, Riff Raff was a no name when I got him. You know, a couple cats from Texas knew him because of Target, but he was pretty much a no name. So I just branded him in my way. Because when I got Riff Raff, he was too, his head wasn't good enough for the exotic community, but then he was too extreme for the ABKC community. So we didn't really have a home. So I had to like create my own home, create my own lane with Riff Raff. And that's kind of what we did. And then the rest has just been history. I think when you have a dog, and I think a lot of people on this live can attest to that, is that when you have the right dog, you have to brand him and promote him. It has to be customized to the dog.
Yeah.
You know, and you see what Fave did with Remyline, and Fave was a big influence on me. I tell him that all the time. He was a big influence on how I promoted my dog and how I branded my dog, just based on some of the stuff I observed Faith doing from a distance when I first got started. So it's just important that you customize your promotion to your dog. You may not be able to promote the same way Jim down the street promotes his dog. You got to kind of find whatever your dog pros, cons are, niche, et cetera, and promote that way. So
So
you know,
how
it
you
wasn't
go?
reasonable. We got it done.
So coloring book to 3D movie. Let's start off
Correct.
there. Yeah. What inspired you?
Man. So what initially inspired me to do the storybook was just taking a riffraff to all these shows and seeing how these kids were just amazed by him and how they just would fall in love with him. And riffraff had a very unique personality. Like he didn't really tolerate a lot of men a lot, but he would tolerate kids. Like he would let kids poke him in the eye, do all that kind of stuff. But he had very short tolerance for like men. So I just noticed his personality, and I'm like, he really different around kids than he is around men. So one day I was at work. God just put it in my heart to start writing. I started writing a book. Took me about a month to finish it. I published it. Ended up selling like 5,000 copies in like the first 3 years. Then I just continued to just, expand my portfolio. So then we did coloring books, I did puzzles, and then I did a 2D animated film a few years ago, and then just did T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. And then once I decided to create my own production company, the first project I did was the Shorty Boy documentary. The second project I did was my video game that I haven't released yet for Ife and Riff Raff.
Yeah, and
Then
that
the
Shorty
third,
Boy documentary,
yeah,
I think it really put the Shorty Boy on.
I
You know,
appreciate that. That was the goal, was to instead of people asking me what is a shorty boy all the time, I can just send them a link and you can find out for yourself. So that's kind of what the goal was with that, man. But the 3D animated film that I did for Amazon, that's a small glimpse into the bigger picture. You know, I funded that with my own money, and that's kind of like my equity piece. And I'm currently in some meetings and trying to shop around with trying to do a deal with a distribution company so I can get the full length movie done. Like I have a script, I have volume 2 and volume 3. I have the origin story for Ife and Riff Raff that I'm really not trying to have to use my own money to develop, but I will. If for some reason in 5 years I'm not able to secure a deal, I will use my own money to get it done. But I'm hoping to get a distribution deal where I can get a studio to provide me with the funding to do a 1 hour, 1.5 hour movie, animated film on Ife and Riff Raff. So the goal and the vision is a lot larger than this little short film that I did on Amazon. That's just to kind of show that I did this shit by myself with an animator. If I had a really good team and money behind me, I could really make something incredible. So
yeah.
that's just kind of how I got started.
All right, so Fabian, let's move on, man. How'd you acquire Remy? And where the RKC start from and why?
I mean, Remy was just pretty much at that time, like I said, you're surfing the net. I came across him on the net. I mean, it's a little bit more detailed, but I'm gonna just give the short end of it. I had a treadmill that I bought to work my dogs and so forth. I ended up using that bitch about 3 times. Next thing, that bitch was just getting about dust in my garage, that treadmill. So I hit up George, And no, he hit me up. He hit me up and says, "Hey, I put it back then. You have a for sale page, and I put for sale treadmill, right?" And he says, "Hey, you selling that treadmill?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I got a puppy, How about we trade for the treadmill?" And I looked at the puppy. I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." Drove up there. Ended up becoming $500 in a treadmill is what I ended up buying Remy for. Because it was like, I was asking, can't remember what I was asking for, but the deal just became $500 in a treadmill. And I picked up Remy. He looked like shit. I was actually pissed the whole fucking drive back because that treadmill was sticking out. I had a Denali, and it couldn't fit, so the back was up, and we were driving all the way up to like Fresno, freezing our ass off, me and my boys. And when I saw the dog, I was kind of like, man, that dog got parvo. I'm not gonna take that dog. And my boys like, pick that fucking dog up because we're not driving back to Cali with this treadmill. So that's how that came about, man. But I want to give you a quick, not to change the subject, but in promoting, the problem what makes a successful promotion, and this is a pearl I'm about to give, is you only can promote something that you truly believe in. A lot of guys have dogs that they're promoting, but that dog isn't something they truly believe in. You see what that man has done with Riff Raff? Ain't nobody gonna write no book and no video game and no coloring book and so forth. But he looks at that dog, and that dog just does it for him. You
Man,
can't tell.
most of these people won't even use their own dogs.
Yeah, you can't tell that man, hey, that man. If you said he'll be like, man, that dog it's more than just the dog. So a lot of people are promoting something because they think that's what other people want. And promotion that's real phenomenal is when you stand behind that dog. Not saying yours is better, but in your eyes, it's your better. Like when you have your wife, there's other finer women and this and that. But at the end of the day, that's the one that you're rolling with. That's what you believe in. That's my shorty. And she might be the ugliest bitch in the whole fucking club, but that's your shorty. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to stand like this with her, like, yeah.
Hey, that's called kiddo blind.
You know? I think a good way of knowing what Fabian is saying is true is I guarantee I know this has happened to us with Brat. I've had people call and say, man, I want something off Brat line. I want something off Brat. I guarantee Romy, Fabian, and Ife have had people come to them like, I want something off Riff Raff. You know what I'm saying? When people call you and say, I want something off that specific dog, to me, you've done your job as a promotion. And I totally agree with them where, to me, what I see that a lot of these new people are doing that's wrong is they're promoting based off somebody else. You have to truly believe in what you have. I didn't care if nobody didn't know about. We believed in her, and to me, what you get is when you believe in that dog and you push that dog, you get a loyal customer base that comes to you just for that dog. I might not sell as much as Kamp, but I have people that still come to me and ask, "What do you have off Brat?" So that's to me that for me that makes me feel good and makes me feel like we achieved what we wanted to achieve because our belief in the dog and the push we put behind the dog still has, again, like I said, consistency and still being around. It still has us being relevant and still consistent, still around, 10 years plus later.
Well, let me ask this question. There's a couple questions in the from the viewers. One is, where do you see the future of all the dog game, where it's headed to? If I get a answer from each one of you.
I'll go first. Shit, I see the bully world now as not a dog world anymore. I see the bully world as a hustle. I see the dog as a product, and it's just what it is. It's like I'm not gonna be the old school rapper and be like, oh Nas, Nas had his time, and blah 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 blah. But I don't see dogmen in the bully world anymore. I don't see dogmen that are creating something that represent who they are. What I see is guys that are creating businesses, because I don't need to see your money and your cars and all this big house and whatever you got. I mean, shit, just because you don't see it doesn't mean somebody else don't have it. The game has evolved now into more show and tell, but I don't see the dogs anymore. I see one picture, and that's it. I mean, it's like, if you loving your dog, you should be having pictures. Romney has about how many pictures of that dog you got, Romney?
Yeah.
Oh man, at least 3 dozens.
Right. You know, you
But
guys could.
Fabian, look, Fabian, I should pro pictures to the community out here. I got the camera now. I have my ranch, what I built in the backyard, a complete area where I can shoot pictures all day long for all my dogs. So I
Right.
enjoy it. It is something that I actually enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying? That's why I have a lot of pictures for that boy. And let me
But
tell you, Fabian. I mean, you put hands on 5150. It was a quake in the parking lot when we met on the Beverly Center. But when you come again to the house and you hang out with me like last time you came to LA house, but you're gonna come this one here, you're gonna see 5150, a very, very special bully. And you
no,
mark my
I
word.
already know that. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
the thing is that you have a badass dog, you can't help but want to take pictures of that motherfucker. You be in your fucking drawers, putting your cereal. You look out that window, and there's the shot. You grabbing your phone real quick. I mean,
Yeah.
when you have a badass dog, you can't help but take
Yeah.
yourself. So what drives me crazy is I see all these badass dogs that people say they are, and it's the same fucking picture 2-3 years later. This breeding is, it's like, nah, a badass dog is something you're so excited to show the world because this is what you're seeing. That's a
Absolutely.
badass dog.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I look at him all day and I was like, God, what, like I want to show the whole, I want the whole entire bully world
Exactly.
to come
You're
over here,
excited about it.
you know?
You're not hiding flake. It's like, I mean, it's I get worked up about it because when I see that dog, bro, it's and Dogman understands this. When you see that dog, it just does it for you, you know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for that
Like I
visit.
said, I never seen him in person, but when I first seen 5150, it was like he was everything you are looking for out of a bull. Like I would love to have every color of that dog.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh, uh, I'm trying to produce a lilac of him. I'm not really crazy about the lilac. I love the blue. The blue, the grayish color, it's a really beautiful color. As long as got the body structure and can the dog, the bully can stack himself on his own on every little move he can do. Like side move, back move, whatever you look at him, any view, the dog you see him stacking himself on his own, 24/7. That's just that would do it for me.
And also that blue and that black, man, it definitely shows muscle tone and muscle definition really well.
Yeah, the black. Yes, I agree. But 50, if you really see his eyes, see, I come from right now. I bred Frenchies for good 4 or 5 years, maybe 4 years. All right, and I studied the colors. I can show you Frenchies, blue color Frenchie, but with a gray, with a different color eyes, and he's on paper, he's a lilac. You know what I'm saying? On paper is a lilac dog, but bully people that they don't know really the combination of colors, they will call him blue or gray, but he's a lilac dog. He's a lilac dog. I mean, 5150, for example, I can take picture right now with the flash on. You'll see his red. His eyes will glow red, right? Once the eyes glow red, you already know he's a lilac kind of thing. He produced lilac with blue females. So bred him to blue female. He produced lilacs with blue females. Lilac
So
tribe, blue female.
so
You know?
let's go to Hakim.
Uh-huh.
The question, where do you see the future of the dog game? Where do you think it's headed?
Um, but bully to me is probably like in the last year. I think the bully is growing. But I do agree with Fabian. I think it's a lot of these guys is getting in now. It's almost like the dope game. The carnivores or the everybody like that now. This is a legal way for them to get money now through the dogs. People just buy based on hype and based on the next man. Like when I first started, I used to be on all these people's websites. I used to be on Remy and them websites. I used to be on somebody that really, really influenced me. Like Ife said, Devil's Den, their website was so futuristic to me back then. Like you have to really do your research back then.
Yeah.
I went on what's his name, Machiavelli Pitts. I remember Elite Edge had this website where you could click on all their websites. And I
Yeah.
search and look at dogs, and And I think now people don't really do that. People just buy based on, man, the guy that's holding that big stack of money next to his dog, and they don't really know the history of the dog or know, how the dog produces and all that stuff. So that's the one thing I would say. I don't know. I hopefully it doesn't mess up our breed, but I think a lot of people are getting into it and not really doing their research, and they paying 20,000-30,000 for these puppies, and the puppy turns a year, 2 years old, and don't look nothing like what they expected.
Okay, so FA, your opinion, where do you think the bully game is headed?
Man, that's a tough question. Just it's hard to say. I've noticed a shift a little bit in the direction of the bullies, just because I've noticed people are breeding for more structure now. They are looking more as far as like functionality and things like that. But it's definitely it took a turn for the worse, man. There's just no accountability amongst breeders anymore. People feel comfortable posting train wrecks, and then you'll see a lot of people commenting and adding affirmation and co-signing on these train wrecks. So it's hard to say, man, because you'll see a new dog that might come out a month from now, and it'll be fucked up ass dog, and people will be breeding to it, man. But I think I think it's always going to be a place for us. I can definitely see a light at the end of the tunnel, as long as like breeders like myself and Hakim, and we got Remy on here, and then you got Fabe that's double dabbling back into the bullies again and stuff like that. As long as like the real breeders, the one that are reputable and legitimate and sound and have passion and have a direction and hold each other accountable, as long as we can keep the core intact moving forward and we're still doing our things, then there's always going to be a good place for people to come and get bullies from. We're not always going to be able to we ain't going to be able to fix everything, like the train wrecks and all that. They're always going to be out there, just like the Rottweilers. You got train wreck Rottweilers out there, deformed Rottweilers, but we may not necessarily see that because we're not in that community. But
I
I'm
got one.
optimistic for the future. Yeah, I'm optimistic for the future of the breed, because I have to be, because I love the breed. I'm always going to breed these dogs, so I have to be optimistic for the future, man. But it's a tough call, man. Just
Well,
got to
see,
keep
my
open.
opinion is if people stop worrying about everybody else's yard and worry about their own, I think we can change the game one person at a time. You know,
Well, if
but
you're worried about your own yard, but your own yard is fucked up because you bought 3 dogs off this other camp that's fucked up, and you
yeah.
really not, so that's hard. It's hard.
Like
So
Ife said, we have to be accountable too. That's very important. I think like when we have to like I don't take offense if Ife or Remy came to me like, man, look, I think I like the dog, but I think y'all can work on fixing that. But I don't take that. I don't get mad. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try to work on that. And I think nowadays people kind of get mad when you try to
oh yeah, it's a lot of sensitive housewives in this game, bro, for sure.
I wanna include Jovan here in the question. My guy, he's been trying to purchase a dog or get back into the game for the past how long again now?
Man, probably about 2 years.
All right, so tell us your experience in the past 2 years visiting kennels, and I know you know all the big names, and you visited all the big names. What was your experience, and what did you see difference from the past bullies that you came from, the Razor's Edge and all these dogs in LA area, and now you wanted to get into the micro or the exotic world maybe? So what was your experience visiting all these kennels?
I mean, it's just a different dog, and it's also like my man was saying, it's a different yard now. Like, I had one experience where I gave a dude a deposit on the dog, and they just do it totally different than how we used to do it. So when I see the dog can't even walk.
hmm.
So I'm like, bro, I'm not buying this. And he's like, oh well, you don't get your deposit back. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
let
but
you know,
wait, you
because
didn't see the dog before you paid the deposit?
yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, it went up about $500, and he was like, oh, okay, well I give you a stud credit. And I'm like, I don't want to stud this dog. I come from I had a dog. I had a dog. I know y'all familiar. Y'all familiar with Williams Bull?
Yeah, I had a Williams Bull granddaughter when I first
Right.
started.
So the guy who owned Williams Bull, he was my neighbor. So I used to go over there every time and see the dog or whatever. So he ended up giving me the dog, actually. So I was the owner of Williams Bull. So I had Williams Bulls back in the day, and I bred him to a Easy Rider daughter, and I created a dog called what was that dog name? Bully the Kid, and he was pretty big. And then I had a Quando from King Lion.
I'm familiar with King Lion.
Huh?
I've heard of King Lion before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a son named Quando, and El Jefe. I had co-owned him with this other guy, and it's just a different type of game, man.
But
And
all the latest kennels that you visited, and what was your impression about them and about their prices, and what give us like some of your experience of
oh, they
these.
want $40,000 for a dog that can't walk.
Oh, for
But
sure.
I want to ask y'all this. Like, I'm not my partner Abel. He follows more the exotic for us. But like, are these guys really getting? Somebody's really paying
Yes.
$40,000. That's
Yes.
crazy. To me.
Listen,
That's
For me,
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
still hard for me to like
check
accept
hey,
that mentally.
I talked to Three Amigos earlier today on the phone, and we were discussing the breeding, right? And sometimes the dog we were talking about, he throws some messed up feet, but when he doesn't, the dogs are amazing. And I told him, like, fuck it, I might use them because worst case scenario, I'll sell the puppies for $50K. You feel me?
So
I mean, what are they doing? Are people getting loans on their houses? Like, I'm trying to say, are
Oh
people
yeah, bro.
houses for these dogs?
Oh yeah, I know a guy that
rap
sold
game
his house to
101.
buy 2 dogs.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people take money out their 401ks, take loans out on the house. I've seen a lot of it. I go to a lot of shows in, North Carolina, South Carolina, down here in the South part, and I see a lot of dogs out there that just don't walk. So they keep them on the table, right?
That's where that table came. That's why they created that table, just for that
Well,
reason.
you can't say that
no,
technically.
no, that table is old school. I mean, I've seen
Yes.
I
pictures
know
in
the
the
table
40s.
is old school, but they use that as a tool. Trust me,
So
because that dog
Well, but
cannot
even when you
walk.
look at the AKC and UKC dog shows for the smaller dogs, they have them on tables.
but I understand what he's saying. He's saying now it's used as a tool to hide things.
Well, you
Yes.
want to know, sir? I think they started using it for that reason, and I think mainly why people keep their dogs in cages. Their dogs aren't trained. Their dogs are just fat. They can't walk because all they have to do is drag them in a wagon and put them on the table and wave them around like this and shit, and there you go.
Because I
You
went
know,
to
if you want
one
to
of the
be,
shows in I went to one of the shows in Norco, California one time, and it was a guy. I forgot the name of the dog, but it was the dog was popping at the time, and he was just carrying the dog around in his arm, and everybody was just looking at him, and I was wondering like why. So I asked my buddy. He said, "Oh, the dog can't walk."
And for me, the bully, I think one of the biggest things that impressed me about a bully is like when a bully walks, like Riff Raff. Is a dog named Mufasa. He was a standard, big, tall. But like when certain dogs walk in the room, like you have to notice them. Not even just the way they walk. So to me, that's very important. So just a table don't show me that. A dog has to come in and like capture the room. When Riff Raff comes in the room, you gotta look at like what the hell? Like what that's how I look. I'm like, what, like this dude is a freak. Like it was just he comes in the room and also the dogs like Remy, 5150, Riff Raff, like part of the reason why those dogs are successful to me is those dogs carry a certain charisma about them. Like
Like
they
for
know the
instance, like Dax. What makes Dax so good and wonderful is if you go to Ed Shepherd's house, Dax stay in the house. Dax eat French toast. A lot of people, if they don't know Ed Shepherd, they don't know that. He feeds Dax French toast. Dax play with you, run around. He have character to him. You understand what I'm saying?
He
And
was
that would make a lot of people, like my man was saying, that would make a lot of people like, you know, go in the direction of the dog because the dogs that we used to breed to, they will be really their dogs. These dogs now, they don't have no character, like you said. They not trained. They stay in the kennel all day. It's crazy, man.
But see, but you guys gotta understand is what we're saying is because that's what we believed and that's what we bred. It's a new generation now,
Right,
and
right.
it's like rap music. The new rap music is not the LL Cool J's, and it's not the Jay Z's, and it's not. You give the respect to those guys, but the little Dirk. It's a whole different thing. So these guys, dogs walking to them, it's like, bro, why
I'm
do I need this
surprised you
dog to
know
walk?
all of these rappers, bro.
Come on, boy. Come on, boy. So, anyways, it's what it is. Is these guys? When I say the game has gone to a hustle, a hustler don't have a time to be a dog man because he's a hustler. He's gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna pay that guy there. I'm gonna drop this bag over here. You got a house. I'm gonna store these 3 dogs at your house. We're gonna boo boo boo. Get the cameraman that does the photoshopping for us. We're gonna pay him, and we're gonna make this money." So it's two conversations.
Yeah, I
One is
agree. I agree to that, and then I also agree to you know, remember back in the day, you could sell a puppy to a person that's just want a dog. Now the dogs are so high, only body buying the dogs is other breeders.
man, but look, all that's $40,000 dogs, and these guys that are selling $50,000 dogs. If you really want to know what people are selling, really see how they're living. Because if you're selling litters for all these dogs for $40,000, $50,000, and your house looks like shit, there's shit all in the yard. You even got your kennel look like you built it yourself. A lot of it is capping.
Yeah, right,
Now there are
right.
cats that are getting $40,000. They are cats that are getting that.
Yeah,
But
but
trust me,
Fabian, the
yeah.
ones that selling $40,000 dogs, they're not the ones that build the kennels by themselves. They're really big names. They're really big names. You know
No,
what I'm
but
saying?
what I'm saying is, everyone thinks in that world that's what you're getting. It's a 10% of the guys in this dog game make money.
Yeah.
I might
Half
even
to
put. I might even.
90% of the guys are buying dogs because of the owner of his lifestyle, like his swag or whatever. That's why if you go to the dog shows, you see the cats. They have on Rolex watches, Cartier glasses. You know what I mean? They're selling their lifestyle through the dogs now.
Yeah,
Now,
but let me say,
what people
I
don't understand is just because you pay 40,000 for a dog, don't mean you're gonna be able to sell the
Your
puppy.
dogs for 40,000,
Oh,
And
right?
it doesn't mean that the dog was really worth 40,000 because I've seen some
Right, right,
$40,000
right, right.
bullshit. So,
yeah.
hey, fellas, so the question on the screen now is what year do you feel the bully was really a strong part of the game? And what do you all think was the first major bully to hit the game that made its mark? So, Rami, we're going to start with you, F.A., Fabian, Hakim, and then Booger.
Dex,
Dax.
Yeah.
without a doubt,
I'm
Dex
with,
was a huge
oh,
noise
oh,
fight.
oh,
Dex literally had more than 6,000 puppies on ground. That's by itself is a big crazy number. And then right after probably would be Miyagi. But as far as the quality, one of the
Hey,
huge was Dex for me. Dex.
All right, F.A.
Um,
He's
I
saying
would say, huh?
the question was talking about bullies, not Razor's Edge, not any old school bully.
I wasn't gonna say that.
No, I'm talking about,
I
no,
was,
I guess the question is any dog.
I was struggling just because of you guys probably can't relate because you wasn't here. But before Dax, I would probably say Cracker Jack.
But he's saying bully, bro.
Huh?
He's saying bully. The
Cracker Jack was
Nah,
a
had
nah,
bully.
I think he's,
dog.
well, I don't know what he means, so let me not assume. But when he's saying bully, I'm just talking any dog from the creation of this breed all the
Yeah,
way till now.
Cracker Jack is
He was the bully era.
Dax's grandfather. You know, the reason why I say Cracker Jack is because Dak's head shape came from Cracker Jack. Kingpin Line's head shape came from Cracker Jack, which then created Miyagi's head shape. Like Cracker Jack was behind the dogs that revolutionized the bullies moving forward. So Michaelin's kennels was such a prominent kennel in Texas. It was such a staple. I remember the first Michaelin's litter I ever dropped. It was off Michaelin's Bubba. I sold the whole litter in like a week. Like the pups wasn't even 7 days. All the pups were sold. Like as soon as I posted, everybody was blowing me up. Like that's how much juice and how much respect they have. So I would say Cracker Jack, and then second runner up would be Dax.
All right, Fabian.
Oh, my thing is that there's only 4 dogs that started the American Bully. That's gonna be movement. Would be Cairo, would be Remy, would be Gotti, and would be Tonka. Those were the four. Those were the four pillars that started that because there was no Gotti before. There was no Dax before Gotti. That whole Dax, that whole stuff. His kennel name was Gotti Line Pitts. So to me, what started the American Bullies for me, this is for me, was those 4 dogs was Cairo, Remy, Tonka, and Gotti. And then from there became like the Pokemons from Remy, the Daxes and stuff. From the Gotti side of the blood, Rock and Ruby with the Tonka stuff, and then Razor's Edge with the Cairo stuff. I mean, that's the way I see it.
All right, go ahead, Hakim.
For me, when I started off, heavy with, Remy line. We had a Remy son named Peace. Definitely used to throw the head, but I had an issue with the body. I took a break, came back, went to a show in Wisconsin, and I remember we was at the dog show. Then all of a sudden, I saw a whole bunch of people run to the stage, out to the ring, and they brought out a dog named Dallas, which was a Dax son, and like everybody was going crazy. They're like, man, you don't know who Dax? Because at this time, I didn't know who Dax was. I was out the game for a minute. So for me, breeding wise, I saw a big change physically because we bred to create our dog Brad. Brad is a Dallas son, which is Dallas is Dak's son. So for me, physically, I saw a change in our dogs when we bred to Dak's blood. So to me, from out, again, Ife moved around. Early on, when I was doing my research, I never saw these dogs physically. Everything I saw was online when it came out to Remy and all these older dogs. My first time seeing a physical change in a dog is when I saw Dak's blood.
All right, go ahead, Booger. It's on you. What do you think?
Dax all the way, man. Great producer, produces himself all the time. Like you said, over 6,000 puppies. Um, shit, man, it's all Dax all the way.
All right, well, for me, the first part of the question is say, what year do you feel the bully was at
Oh
its
yeah, it was
strong
what
point?
year?
I
Uh,
would say, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
let me see, 2005, six, around there.
Okay, see, I was gonna say the era between 2005
Yep,
and 2010, because when you think about that, you really got to think around that time. Remy was still rocking.
right. I love
Uh,
Remy. Remy,
bro,
Remy, Remy, one of the baddest dogs
we,
on the planet too.
we had around this time. I think Riff Raff was going closer to the more like 2010 era. We had Corrupt, we had Savage, we had G2 Freak Show. You feel me? So I would say that era of 2005 to 2010 was
Yeah.
I think it really, and then Dax. I really think it did a good thing, but I also think this is also the era that screwed up the game too. You know, because
It went through it definitely the game went through a change, like you said, around that time, because I felt the change. It went through a change from the dogs start getting smaller and smaller. You know what I mean? It went through a change. Because
because
I know I
when you started so-called mixing the Razor's Edge with the Gotti line, they created more extreme dogs, and I think people started seeing that around that time and started reintroducing the bulldog up front and stuff like that, and then saying it was the mix because at this time,
because
this is when we start to get Prince Spade and King Spade, you know, and all of those type of dogs too, Monster G line, and all of these things started coming along in this era too.
because not to be funny, but Razor Edge at that time and Gotti, they was like Crips and Bloods. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, bro.
mean?
Like you wasn't supposed to mix the two,
You
but
weren't
when you
supposed to mix the two and everybody, because I was a Razor Edge guy. You know what I mean?
My,
So I was Razor Edge. I was team Razor Edge. So every dog I had was Razor Edge. But then when I went over there and talked to um the guy, what's the guy not their own Gotti. What's the other guy from San Diego? Roger. Remember Roger?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Roger,
Yeah,
West
that's
Coast
West Side.
Gotti line. Of
West
course.
Side Gotti.
Yeah, I
yeah.
went to talk to
West Coast
Roger.
Gotti line.
He was like, man, that's a badass Razor Edge dog, but I'm straight Gotti, man. I can't mix it. And me and him mixed the dog. We bred the dog together, and they came out nice. And I think that dog was name damn, I can't think of that
Well,
dog's
see,
name, but
corrupt,
it was
corrupt and savage is started what I think. started making people like say, okay, we finna start mixing these breeds because when you see corrupt and then you start to see savage, I think people started feeling like it was okay.
Now you guys want to hear something? Now this is history, right? Atomic Dog magazine was the first American bully magazine, right?
Yeah.
What dog? What dog did they have to represent? What dog was undercover and had a full write-up to represent what the American bully is?
Man, I forgot. That was hella long ago. Wasn't it a black and white dog on the cover of the magazine back then?
It was Pokemon.
Okay.
And so Pokemon, remember now. So for the American bully, what they said, what American bully is, Pokemon was there at that time. Was what the American bully was, and Pokemon was Remy bred to Monster G stuff.
Well, there's another question in the comments that the viewer likes to know. So what do you think about the people saying about the black dog is over or having a comeback or the different colored dogs?
Well, can I answer?
Yes.
All right. So if you look at people saying that, that's probably mainly from the exotic world, because if you look at the ABKC community, they're all using Brim. Brim, he's a black dog. He's a badass black dog, badass fucking bully by all means, massive bully, and very well put together. And everybody in the ABKC community, almost 90-80% used him, stuck to him. So really don't matter to the ABKC community. It's just who we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
The micro exotic area.
Well, you can't even. But see,
probably because the micro exotic, they want this color toy kind of looking dog, because literally the exotic dog is a toy dog. It's a dog that really sits on the couch next to you, or can be just here in the house roaming with you inside the house, not even outside, or maybe outside in the yard for a couple minutes and running back in. So the exotic world is all about colors and how the dog is functioning, or how, not functioning, I should say, uh, acts. You know what I'm saying? So they want the color, they want that elbow, they want all that crazy high rear, the mean face. I get it, but as far as answering your question, it depends. It depends who is looking for the bully. Like what not what do they want? Like what's their vision?
well, I think the person that said that, first of all, the person that said that, I don't even think owns a dog, first of all. Second of all, that's just the dumbest shit in the world to say to me. Because let's just be honest. Let's look at the history of when the exotic started to evolve. You feel me? So we go back to Marcelo. You feel me? And then when you really start to look at the Michaelin's blood, this is truly some of the foundation behind most of these exotics. You feel me? So you start to look at now you get back into your locos, your nitros, your Prince Spades, your Bolo, Bullseye, and then you start to look at Dax. A lot of these black dogs created the foundation for the exotic. You
And
feel me?
I think another thing that I learned, I saw somebody make a post on this on Facebook, like maybe a few months ago. I'm not really vexed on on colors, like how colors work. But the post, pretty much what he said on the post is, at the end of the day, if you want to balance out your dogs, color wise or whatever, eventually you're gonna need black. He was pretty much saying a black dog is gonna be needed in your program when it comes down to balancing your dog. And I don't remember the exact words he said, but he came at it on not on the look of the dog, but he's saying black is important because again, black, I think like you said, everything kind of comes from black. So what he was saying was eventually you're gonna have to put a black dog back in your program to pretty much get it right. I don't remember the exact words, but that's
what that dude said was you eventually gonna have to go back to a black dog because if you breed lilac to lilac to lilac, the bones are gonna get smaller.
He was saying something like that. But that's where you were going at. You got that from him. You can't. It's kind of hard to.
But hold on. But then when
that is a base foundation color, though. That's a base foundation color along with brindle. How do you all feel about brindle?
But hey, hold on real quick. But then when he got asked, well, who's your favorite black dog? And he answered, they was like, so will you get rid of him? He was like, No,
No,
no, no.
I'll keep that.
But
But that dog that they was talking about, that guy that you're talking about, he is in the more the exotic community, you know, the micro community, and he has not ever bred a litter at this time
he
either.
doesn't own a dog. He's not in no. He's in a. Hey, he's in a Google community. That's what community he's in, bro. He's in a Google dog community. But let's. All right. So,
But that is
what,
a base foundation color as well as brindle. How do y'all feel
Yes.
about brindle in the programs?
I think with a nice looking dog, like if you have a really nice built dog, I think a really nice built American bully brindle I think is a beautiful dog. I think
Yeah,
people
but not too many will breed to him though.
you say
Yes.
you say you want
But why?
They just not a very attractive color to the eyes, I guess.
No,
for me,
it's not that they're not attractive. They don't sell.
yeah, they don't sell, but for me,
Well, because they're not attractive to the eye, people not buying because people don't like what they see, so it's not attractive.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I can see it from that perspective.
I mean, I talking towards the customer, yes, but for me, being a dog guy, like if I see a really nice bully that's brindle, like to me that like I like it personally. But I understand what Romy's saying, where customer based on how the customers are now and how they look at it, is not an attractive color when it comes out to trying to sell a dog.
Right.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, big money dogs. You want something different. Brindles is a common color.
yeah,
Black's a common color. If a person's gonna be spending $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 with you, they probably want a freaking like pink dog. They don't want a brindle or a black dog. They want something that could be like, whoa.
I had a
It's from-
pup and said it was green.
hey, hold on, real quick, fellas. Hey, Mike. When I said that guy was stupid, I wasn't talking about you because this was a topic that was on a whole nother live, a whole nother show interview that was there, bro. So I wasn't calling you stupid, my guy. All right, go ahead, fellas.
That was meant for somebody else, Mike. I know when I came into it, everybody told me the blue, don't mess with blue, don't get a brindle, black, or a piebald dog. And for me, I'm coming in, and I couldn't understand the reason why, because I know when I was coming back in the early '90s, or even way before that, even with the when we was into pits at that time, you know, fawn was a we called buckskin back then. That was a good color. You had a lot of good dogs that came with black and brindle, or even when the blues started coming out, that was later on. But when I first came in, that's everybody said that about those colors. I still can't understand exactly why, even with the blue.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of people out there. They hit me up for blue color dogs. Since my stud is blue, a lot of people, a lot. When I tell them lilacs, they really don't know what the hell I'm saying.
I think
You know?
minority, and I think it's also because of how you promoted that dog. I think most people nowadays, people come to you, they're gonna probably want blue because you got 5150 and he blue, but I don't think most people go to other camps and say, I want a blue dog.
Well, hey, George just released a video, bro, and damn near everything in his yard. And the bitches was bad, but damn near everything he showed, bro, about 10 dogs, and most of them were black or blue.
Well, people are buying dogs from
Which George?
George. I don't think they're buying it because of the color. They just buying, like dude said, they buying from George.
Okay.
Yeah, he just released a video with about 10 females, and most of them, I think he had one lilac over there, one or two lilacs. One was possibly chocolate, and two were black. The rest were blue.
Fabian, I have a question for you, Fabian. I have a feeling that you kind of far from the ABC community, and your knowledge probably in the dogs and the ABC community is kind of far. Am I right or wrong?
I really don't. So not just say associate. I don't really pay too much attention in that community.
But you end up picking up a bully lately. I see you having a bully.
Yeah, well, I got a bully because I'm breeding Frenchies, which is my priority. But at the end of the day, it was hard for me not having a bully in my yard. You know, it's like I always had to have a bully. So the yards that I like is like I like your yard. I like
Appreciate.
Mike Jar that messes with El Chile, because all his stuff I like a lot. And it just kind of worked out to where I got Jerry Maguire, and I ain't gonna front, man. That that little fucker right there, boy,
Well,
he's different. He's
well, that's a
different.
question for you since you like Mike Short. Who do you
Yeah.
think is better, El Chile or Simon?
Ooh,
It.
ooh. You know what? I think if I had to choose, right, I would just end up choosing El Chile because he produced Simons.
Okay.
I like El Chile's head. I like, man, shit. Simon is nice, bro. I ain't gonna front.
Simon is badass,
I ain't
bro.
gonna front. I ain't gonna front. But
Uh,
I would choose El Chile just because he produced Simon. You know what I'm saying?
El Chile is a smaller dog than Simon, but El
Yeah,
Chile
he
is
is.
one of those. He's one of those dogs that, physique wise, he just has so much muscle on like a really small frame. That's what I was so impressed about when I went to Mike
Yeah.
Shard and saw El Chile and all them
What
boys. He was a
I,
crazy
I
dog.
I have a question now that we see Veneno came to North America, and we get to see a lot more real picture of Veneno than what we seen from the Chinese people. Uh, they gave us the impression that Veneno was a very small dog. Um, what do you what do you guys think? Each one of you, can you give me like how what is your impression now that you actually see the real Veneno? And I don't think Veneno is a micro dog by any means.
Well,
I,
I
I've been to shows. I haven't seen him in person, but I've been to some shows that have some Veneno blood in them. And the ones that I've seen, they was pretty much micro, maybe about the 13-inch borderline. In fact, FA can. I know one guy that FA knows is here in North Carolina, which is Steel Tone, uh, Steelhead Tone, and he has a Veneno son, I believe. I believe he got it from FA. But he's a pretty nice dog. He's not a real small, say micro. Well, I think he might be around a 13-inch size frame, but he's built. And
oh
then I
yeah.
son off
No,
of him in
he's
North Carolina.
he's a
Um,
top producer without a doubt.
I
Veneno is
yeah,
think
a
he
top producer without a
I
doubt.
think he's doing great in the American bully community and the exotic community.
yeah.
But what's your thought of him? Like you actually see uh raw pictures of him right now. You
I
I
mean,
know,
I
mean,
don't.
You
I
know,
mean,
the owner is such a nice guy. Like I spoke to him on the phone many times, and he's an amazing person, and he's got a vision, and he was working. He's an honest person too to work with.
I
So
mean, I
so
think I think his look is kind of past his time, because this what he produced better than himself, and his sons have kind of taken over. But his foundation blood, I think, is strong. But if looking at him now, he just looks like an older school type of dog to me. You know,
So
really, wow.
who do you guys feel right now is the top American bully out there right now?
American bully. What
American bully.
size? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I think Khan is holding that shit down, bro. And I think if you want to go into smaller size dog, I'm gonna go with 5150. But I think Khan has that shit. That dog Colossus or whatever that motherfucker is. That thing looks like a goddamn.
Colossal.
Yeah, that bitch looks
But
like.
but I look. I wanted to breed Prada 5150's little mate sister to that dog, right? And I messaged Khan, and Khan gave me a crazy number. He says he's 15 inches tall, he's close to 80 pounds. I was like, it's impossible. I mean, I have that message. It's impossible the dog that measurement. I'm not saying exaggerating, but I wanted to breed him because I have seen him next to people. He's slightly taller than 5150 by an inch or inch and a half.
I don't think it's impossible the way that people breed these days, man. The bulldog is so heavy and they breed, it's easy to pack on weight on these dogs. So I don't think it's impossible. I mean, if he said it, I could believe it.
How tall is Brim?
I don't know.
Grim, I think
I never
Grim is
seen
a
him in person.
standard, isn't he?
I thought he was a pocket.
I have seen Rocco in person, and I have seen another black male with Khan at the ABKC in Chicago. maybe 5 years ago, right? Or yeah, was it 5 years ago, Hakim?
5 years
The
ago.
Chicago show, or 4 years ago?
It's about five years
And
ago.
honestly, and I've seen that black dog. I don't know what's his name is, Grim or Brim. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
he
which
said he
one is he.
pocket.
Huh?
He said he pocket. Hey, check this out, man. Everybody that's on the live, man, share the live. You feel me? I think we pushing on like 2 hours, man. Y'all share the live out, man. Let's get the numbers back up on the live, man, and get
You
it out
already
there.
know, dog man. They never gonna stop talking. You know, man,
Yeah.
dog man. They're gonna just keep talking and talking. That's how we like it. How we love to do. Talk about dogs. So I've seen the black dog with Khan at the show, and I honest to God, I don't think I have seen a massive bully in my life like that. And I'm saying in my life. And I put hands on Magoo, I put hands on Casablanca, and these dogs were extreme massive pockets dogs. But that black dog, definitely no way less than 95 pounds.
Hey, one
I,
thing I
I,
feel about con stuff, um, you going to get that girth, that side. They thick. They're for me they're closer to the bulldog side in my opinion. I still like a dog with a chiseled head, blocky muzzle, and certain things. I'm more of a muscle definition person. I
yeah,
I'm not thickness is cool, but I want the muscle definition. But I think Khan definitely has that lane locked when it comes out to the big, girthy, 80, 90-pound dogs.
yeah,
Got that
yeah.
locked.
When you look at some of the production that's coming out of Khan's yard, though, you know, he's producing that muscle tone too, bro. He really is.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
don't know.
the bully has muscle tone, but I'm talking muscle definition. Like his dogs are thick. Like
Yeah,
they thick.
yeah.
Like they like they thick. I mean I don't know how healthy, but they thick. Like if you want thick and you want thickness, I think Khan will give you that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Muscle definition and all this, probably a muscle tone. Bashar will give that. If you bring some badass muscle females to 50 on 50, he will give you that for sure. I have it in my yard. I mean, Fabian, I want you to come and vouch for that. So
No,
when you
he
come and see, you see,
muscle definition. Rami got that shit. Like them dogs are ripped.
I think
They're ripped.
Riff Raff was defined.
Riff Raff is
refresh was
ripped.
also defined.
There's
Yes.
a female, y'all, Ife, you and George produced, and I went to George's yard in Louis V line, and I seen this dog in person, like she was cut up, like she was a
Yeah,
beast.
oh yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
we're
that's
getting.
Was a Riff
that's
Raff
a
daughter,
that's
Riff Raff
Asian.
Louis V stuff.
Yeah, that's Asian.
Yeah, she was a beast. She was a monster. Like
Oh
she was.
yeah, but yeah,
Honestly, a lot of people slept. Riff Raff came at a time, like if Riff Raff, when the exotic movies, a lot of people slept on Riff Raff because they couldn't appreciate what Riff Raff was.
Yeah, I agree.
And there wasn't a lane for Riff Raff. If Riff Raff would have come a couple years before the movement, Riff Raff would have been probably one of the top dogs.
Well, nah, I gotta
Period.
I gotta disagree with you on that because let's think about it. If you look at the way that Riff Raff was built, he was almost that freak show kind of style dog.
But that's what
Just
I'm saying. He was that freak. But the one thing he had, the motherfucker ran, the motherfucker
yeah,
walked, and
But
the motherfucker was ripped, and the motherfucker had a big head.
I
He
think
had everything. He was like the bridge from the American Bully to the exotics would have been a Riff Raff.
I
yeah.
think I agree with Fabian. I think when Riff Raff was hot and came in the game, that's when that exotic thing was really heavy. And I think
That's when Miyagi stuff was really starting to
Yeah,
pop.
but you got to remember the only dog at that time who had them the bulls, how Riff Raff had them was Freak Show and the dogs that were coming off of Freak Show.
Yeah, but
So that's why you
Freak Show's head wasn't nice.
was he to
well Riff Raff had Freak Show had more of the exotic headpiece. Riff Raff had more of the American Bully
I think
headpiece.
that I think that's
Exactly,
with the balls.
exactly.
I think Riff Raff, like Fabian said, Riff Raff came right when that exotic stuff was going hard, and people were looking for them crazy, almost
Yeah.
Frenchy type of heads, and Riff Raff didn't have. Riff Raff had the body of like an old school person like me that's an older dogs. I could
Yeah.
appreciate Riff Raff, but that's why I think Ife went out his way and made sure he created a lane for his own dogs.
Right.
But at that time, the challenge Riff Raff I think had was, you had dogs like them guys from Jersey, them young guys that had Damn, them young. I don't know if they Italian, but the German bulls, they had haze in them. Those type of dogs had a different look in the face than Riff Raff. But to me, I think what might have hurt Riff Raff during that stage was he had a big head, but his muzzle was a little bit more on the ABKC side. Like his
Yeah,
head.
and so Riff Raff was like two dope dogs in one, because it's like if you wanted the bulls,
Yeah,
Riff
he
Raff
couldn't go
had them.
exotic side and he couldn't go ABKC side
Exactly.
because
Yeah,
so he
And
was
which is
just
why
he was in that middle in that bridge,
a
and there
tweener.
wasn't enough time for him to really create because the bridge wasn't long enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then it closed really
closed
fast.
real
Like you
quick.
had Riff Raff and then Bolo.
Boom.
You
Yeah.
feel me?
Exactly.
And
One of the
then
hardest pitches in
Bullseye
the
hit.
game. One of the hardest pitches in the game is that picture with Ife, and he has a mask on and fucking in that fucking like I think it was an alley or some shit you on with Riff Raff sitting down. That bitch was just looking like dope. You know, I always remember that picture.
I think I would like on the next talk show. I would like to have George Aguilar, if we can ever get a hold of that man.
that's the thing.
Yeah, you can get a hold of him. And also on a one Kong. I have many questions in my mind for Kong. Kong, he produced some badass bullies, and now he's completely in the exotic world. He's on the top of the exotic world as a producer.
So, hey, Rami, this would be more of a question for you. Kenny Wayne Gates, he said, I heard 5150 not a good producer. It has to be a proper female taken to him. I mean, that's any dog, but go ahead.
Well, you just answered. You said any dog is like that. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to have a litter like Hakim's litter, make your 80K, you're gonna bring a female that can handle the breed, the deal. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a badass female with 5150, you're having badass dogs 95%.
As much as these studs are popular, again, with me, my mentality is female. Like the way I was taught is a female. You still got to bring the right female to the table to get the right product.
Well, hey, I have a question for all of you fellas, man, because so we did a live with Rami before to talk about 5150. So when he contacted me today, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. But the names he mentioned, how did this come together, bro? Because when he mentioned FA, and then he mentioned Hakim, and then he mentioned you, Fabian, I'm like, whoa, this is weird. This is like Shaq dating a midget. You feel me? What's going on here with this? What's going on?
Hakim is my boy. I deal with him very often. Fabian is my neighbor, and also my boy Ife is very, very close friend of mine. I'll do anything for Ife anytime. He knows that. So I figured, these are close friends of me. They know Hakim has produced a lot of dogs. He visited me about 10 years ago when I had Razor's Edge. Fabian is OG. He's got knowledge,
I first meeting Ed Shepherd was because of Rami. Rami took me to his house.
Oh, really?
Remember when we went to Ed Shepherd's house? That's when I saw that lilac Louis V. Dax son he had. I forgot his name.
Valentino.
I told him when he was a puppy.
Yeah. Valentino, I think. His name was Valentino, yeah.
I mean, Ed had a couple of studs that was out there because around the time he had Dax, I forgot his other stud name that he was.
What was the name? Barakat or something like
Baccarat.
that?
No, he had another one. He had another one.
He had Valentino. Baccarat and Valentino.
Okay. Well, no, it was another one. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
I'm sure
you talking about blue? He had a blue one. He had a big blue
Primo?
one. You talking?
Was it
I know
Primo?
you're talking about
yeah.
Primo. That's it.
Oh yeah, Primo.
Yeah, Primo is a Miyagi son.
Yeah, I saw it.
Romney actually was the one that put Primo on the map, because Romney went and picked up Primo, was taking pictures and was promoting Primo.
I did.
If I'm correct, Romney.
Yes. Again, if you guys remember at the beginning of the conversation here, I asked you what bully that made you fall in love with the bullies and get into it. For me, it was Primo. When I've seen Primo in a video on YouTube, I said I have to see this dog in person. So I hit up Ed Shepherd. I did a breeding with Dax, and then he took me to his house. He showed me Primo. I was astonished. That's it.
I didn't know you've been around that long because I know you from 5150. So since you're here now, what dog actually puts you out there?
Myself,
Yeah.
5150.
Okay. But
5150.
you produced 5150's mom though, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
I produced the mom, the grandmom. I bought the grandmom from Antonio Vera, T-Bone.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's a big producer in the exotic
Yeah,
world,
America's Exotics.
right? I bought the mom is a really Miyagi daughter, real Miyagi daughter. No hanky panky business in it. Was Miyagi daughter. I bought her with as a co-own with my buddy from Italy. I kept her in my house here. We bred her to hashtag, and then we bred her to a dog named Johnny Walker. On the second breeding, Johnny Walker is a Dax lion, Bolo son to a Dax daughter, right? So it's a Bolo to a Dax daughter created Johnny Walker, and Johnny Walker was bred to Tthree and created 5150's mom Nikita, and that's it. I got Nikita and I bred her to some exotic dude here in Central Cali, which is Suicide. But if you really look at the pedigree of 5150, you're gonna see Miyagi, you're gonna see Dax in the background, a lot of them, mainly Dax, top and bottom Dax.
I mean, so if that being the case, let's talk about some of the things that are said about Dex. The high rear, the easty westy feet, the heart murmurs. I mean, when you look at dogs like 5150 that comes from this line, and a lot of other dogs that come from the line of Dex, I mean, how do you explain that these things don't exist with these dogs?
Well,
They
Dax didn't
exist.
have Easty though.
They
Dax was a
They
champion.
exist. I think it's very unrealistic to not expect heart murmurs with this breed when you're saying some of the top dogs that helped change the look of the breed had these things. For me, I think if you're buying a bully, you have to be realistic to the issues that come with a bully. I love bullies, but I'm realistic. I know what can come from it. Am I willing to accept it? I've been around long enough where Brad, who we produced, Brad is in London right now, 10 years old. She had a heart murmur, but she still is here doing her thing. So I
Well,
mean, for me, you have to be realistic to this breed.
So
Heart
since you
murmur
guys
has
are bigger
a
breeders, let's just say you produce a dog, you sell it to somebody, it has a heart murmur. How
yeah,
do
but
you
heart
guys
murmur has
feel?
a level though. You can't, there's level to heart murmur. There's
Yeah.
a benign heart murmur. A benign heart murmur is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The dog can function and breed and produce and all this. I'm gonna give you a very simple example. This has just happened recently. My buddy owns a Frenchie, 5 panel health clear, 5 panel health clear. So basically, he's excellent. He has no issue. My buddy from Canada bred to this male with a female, 5 panel health clear. So both dogs, male and female, 5 panel health clear on records. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? 3 of the puppy came out with heart murmur, and the owner in Canada he's driving himself crazy. He's like, how can this be possible? How can this be possible? You know, I have 3 puppies heart murmur. I can't sell them because they heart murmur. I said, you gotta understand, not all heart murmurs are bad. There's levels to it. It's just not every. Some vets, they are expert, we can tell you, no, this is okay with this heart murmur, and I guess they have to do different tests on the dog to figure out how bad is the heart murmur, what level it is it on. So again, you can breed an excellent healthy dog to an excellent healthy female, male and female, and get heart murmur dogs.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah. Oh, hey, and Jeremiah, I can't bring you on, bro. This is their live. If get your team together, hit me up, and you guys can come on another time, bro.
we didn't hear too much today from the three from your buddy. I'm sorry, Cleveland.
Calvin.
Kelvin, we didn't hear from you, Kelvin, today. What is your vision about these, or thoughts about these unhealthy dogs or dogs with heart murmur?
Well, like I said in the beginning, I come from the different part of the dog world, where when you dealing with police dogs and military dogs, you're doing that training, competition. When I bred shepherds or Malinois and so forth, if the dogs had any type of and I come from where test all my dogs. Had tested her, you know, for hip, back, spine, and so forth, elbows, anything that would limit the dog when it comes to working. Then we would limit it out the program. We wouldn't breed to it. So some of the stuff is genetic, but when it comes to heart murmurs, some of the heart murmurs as a puppy, they'll grow out of them, and it doesn't mean that it's a genetic trait. Like you were saying, there's different types. So you really got to take into account with the heart murmurs and see how it is and test it as they get older. Like what happened? Like when test the dogs as they get older.
I just soloed you out.
When it comes to breeding, some of those genetic traits will pass on. And people, I've seen it or seen some of the stuff with these dogs, and I'm only dealing not the American Bully. I'm only dealing with the speaking about the micros or the exotics, where some of the dogs can't walk. Well, some of it is hip issues as well. You know, where the joints aren't. I don't think the joints are fitting in the socket properly, and that comes. You got to use a lot of selective breeding.
You get that a lot with the bullies.
Yeah, so I think you got to use a lot of selective breeding when it comes to it. But you know, a lot of in this the exotic field, it seems like I'm in a almost a loner in the field because I'm more. And you can ask Rob, talk about it all the time. I'm more about the health, you know, and it may take a little longer, but I think me, I'm gonna do more selective breeding when it comes to that. You know, it comes to health testing and so forth, because you know there's a lot within the breeds that's been built, like you were saying, Hakim, is you know you got the Frenchie, you got the English Bulldog, and they have eye issues as far as going blind or whatever. You know, dogs that there's tests out there to test for that as well. And like you had said, Romy, when it comes to taking two healthy dogs that's been tested, it is a possibility some of the pups will get whatever you're testing for. So it all plays a part in selective breeding, I think.
I'm gonna tell you a situation. So I have a partnership with this company called Rogue Pet Science. Maybe 2 years ago, Rogue Pet Science and ABKC, I linked them up, and we did this test on maybe like 20 dogs. It was like a genetic health test on from Miyagi to Dax. You're talking about Dax's sons, Dax's grandsons, Miyagi, all these dogs. And the only issue that kept popping up, going back to what Tthree amegos Kendall said, was it was this eye thing that kept popping up. Something had to do with the eyes. I forgot what it's called, but Nate, who's the scientist and one of the owners behind Rogue Pet Science, like he deals with this. Nate said something. He's like, look, at the end of the day, no matter how much tests we do for these dogs, what you see in the real life is what matters. If the dogs ain't dying, like if they, you know, see what I mean? Like he said, no, like because people talk about these dogs and how healthy they are, and I'm not saying they don't have issues, but at the day, if the dog is still living and is healthy and is living a great life, and the dog is 10, 9, 11 years old, that's all that matters. And when we did the test, like I said, we did the test on all these dogs that were first generation, second generation. The only thing that really kept popping up was the eye. I forgot what it's called. Because this eye, whatever this eye thing is, it became big in Australia maybe about 4 years ago. It was a lot of dogs they were saying had this eye thing and were going blind. But based on what Nate and Rogue Pet Science test came on this, at the end, numbers is what count. Even though these dogs show this, are they getting blind? And if they're not getting blind, does it really matter? Not saying again.
I think what he's referring to is I forgot the name of it too, but we talked about it the other day, Tthree amegos. I think
CMR is part of some of the eye disease that they have out there they could test for. But you know, it all plays part of selective breeding. Is you know, and some things you can live with, some things you can't live with. You know.
But Tthree amigos, you're coming from all these badass training dogs and all these background and knowledge in health and healthy dogs, but right now you're doing an exotic. I see this to be a little bit of strange, no?
Well, like I said in the beginning,
He ain't seen Major Key, bro. That's
No, what attract? I think what Rami said, based on your background and the exotic. When you look at most exotic, in my opinion, from the outside looking in, they're very unhealthy. Like, what attracted you to that breed with your background?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how did you get to that?
Well, I had coming from there. I caught COVID, and what it did, it damaged my lungs. So my lung capacity is limited now as far as the stamina and so forth. So I can no longer work with the dogs at that stage, and I can't deal with the excessive hair and the dander that comes with the shepherds or Malawas. So, but then at the same time, I thought, well, maybe I could just switch breeds. So I looked at breeds and I narrowed it down to Bouvier or giant schnauzers as far as a working dog to work with. Now I ended up getting a Bouvier, perfect breed, great breed, non-shedding, hyperallergenic, great dog. Only problem is I still can't get out there and do the physical activity that it takes to work with those breeds. And then so I left it alone for a while. I stopped dealing with dogs, but I just love dogs, period. So I had some friends that were around me that had these exotics, micros. So they finally got me to go to a show, and I looked at some of the dogs, and was I first initially attracted? No, I wasn't. But then there was a few dogs that I did like. Like, we have a viewer on here tonight, Robert Motley. He has a dog that's called Checkmate.
Yeah.
He was very active, big. He had good bones. He could run. He was very functional. Great dog. Then I started doing a whole lot of lives. Going in and watching, and that's when I ran across Robert, and he was into the marketing part. So I was like, well, let me get into that and get on the lives and get familiar and go to some shows and see if I can find something that's suitable for me. So I started doing that. I got, like I said, I got with Robert. I listened to what he was talking about as far as the marketing. And then I ran across 5150. And one show that Robert had, he was talking about it. So I looked him up. I said, man, this is the type of dog, but I want a smaller dog, less drivey than a shepherd or a Malinois that I could be able to work with and take to the dog show. I won't have to do a lot of physical activity. So that's basically how I got into the micros. There was a couple other dogs that's out there that friends of mine had. Jimmy Work, he got a lemon drop son called Chocolate Drop. He has it's a nice functional bull. So that's I'm still into the healthy and the function and so forth. And it's kind of, it's you got to do a lot more research, and I'm still researching a lot of dogs. Rob and
hey, I'll be promoting the shit out of 5150, bro. I need like $50 discount on the stud credit or something. You feel me?
You got it, brother. You got it.
But
I think we're being I have been here with you guys amazing 2 hours. I think I have to leave, but I definitely want to come again with more people or more people.
No, hold on, wait before you leave, because I've been holding this question because somebody asked about an hour ago. How tall is 5150?
Remember we talked about it last time, and I put him on the and I put a cup next to him. The cup was about 6 feet tall. I mean 6 inches tall. I think he's 10 and a half, 11.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it.
Good 48 pounds, solid. I mean, if I stop breeding him for like 2 weeks, I can get him to 49 pounds. So he's nice. He's very nice and thick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely come down there and see him.
Before we go, I just want to send a shout out to my partner. So like with Animalville, a lot of people see my face because I'm mostly the one marketing, but it's a team behind me. So I want to send a shout out to my partner Abel, Cortez in Chicago, Brandon in New Orleans, and Alton in North Carolina.
Hey, and for everybody that's actually on here watching too, because we're not gonna end it just yet because Remy has to go. But for all the people that's watching, if you want links to everybody's page that was on here, hit one in the comments so you don't have to ask or go look, and you'll get a inbox sent to you when you hit one, and then you can check it out later and go check out everybody's dogs.
Hey, Hakim, one question. What part of North Carolina is your partner from?
New Bern.
Okay, I'm from Fayetteville. I live in Fayetteville.
Alton is again, he's an old school guy. He like Fabian and them. Like he was around. So he, like I said, my first ever bully that I purchased in 2005, 2006, I bought from Alton, which was a Remy son named Peacemaker. So Alton is a very, very knowledgeable dog guy, great handler, great trainer, and he, like, if you want to hear some real crazy stories about Remy, he got all kind of stories he can tell you. Like to this day, that's the best dog he's ever seen. The best bully he's ever seen, Remy, if you ask Alton.
Okay.
So, but he's a good.
Like I said, I've been following Fabian forever. Remy, you my guy. Definitely love a dog. So whenever you guys want to come on, all you got to do is just tap in with me. Well, we ain't getting off yet. Like, if whoever has to go, y'all feel free. But I think we're going to hang for a couple more. But you guys are
Robert, you need to come pay a visit to the new ranch. So I'm going to show you 25 bullies, complete badass.
I got you. I'll come down for that.
I promise you. You're going to see some badass bullies.
Hey, Romy, I plan on coming to one of the shows in California next year, early part of next year. So I definitely like to come and visit.
Please, be my guest, please. Fabian, I'm waiting for you, man.
No doubt.
All right.
Hakim,
you already know, Hakim. You already know.
See you later, Romy.
Nice talking to you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So, hey, Fabian's still on. Hey, check this out, bro. I got some couple. So, do you still breed exotics in the cleaner fashion, or you just gave it up? Period.
I breed, honestly, bro. I don't really. I'm just now the state where I'm at in my life. I'm breeding dogs that I can't say it's a bully. I can't say it's an exotic. When I like the dog I have, Jerry Maguire, right now, bro. To me, that's just the look I like. And if that's considered an exotic, then I'm breeding exotics. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's when I look at him, I don't see an exotic. I see like a riffraff,
like a tweener.
Yeah, a tweener. There you go, like a tweener, exactly.
Yeah. So that's crazy. So besides the fact, listen, man,
Michael.
So when you got into the exotics, you strictly got into the exotic for the money part of it.
Period.
So what made you? So were you breeding Frenchies back then too, like when Remy was alive?
When I left, and like I said, when I did that, it was a really dark part in my life. It wasn't like I was going through like all this other stuff, but as a dog man, as a breeder, I just went against everything that I like to breed for. I went against what my values of what a dog should be.
Was this due to the passing of Remy?
No, this is more due to seeing RKC, seeing Remyline, seeing just because you gotta remember, dude, I was up here.
Oh no, you were further than that.
So it was just seeing how a lot of stuff that I envisioned, and I see the world was changing and the dogs was changing, and in order for me to compete, I would have to evolve. So when I was trying to evolve Remyline, I got a lot of pushback on that, and by that give me a lot of pushback, I got a lot of resentment. By that resentment, I just kind of went to a place where like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna shut that shit down.
Let me get this bag.
Real talk, exactly. That's like how it went down. So I was like, fuck it, because Remyline can't stay on top unless it evolves. And I always say you either evolve or you dissolve. Well, what does evolve means? It means that it could still be Remyline, but we got to start now making him a little bit shorter back. Not as aggressive, not as drive worthy, because you can't put Remyline dogs on tables. It's not gonna,
they're even next to another dog.
Right. So when it was like, I'm seeing that we're not evolving. And then when I try to evolve it, the pushback that I got, it was kind of like, well, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm out. And that's what I said. So then I went to the exotic side. The problem was, remember what I just said, in order for you to promote something, you got to really love it.
Yeah.
And as my promotion, and I'm promoting the exotics, it wasn't me. Because when I promote hard. I promote like Remyline, like fuck it, this is my shit. When I was doing the exotics, I was kind of like,
Well,
exotic.
what I seen mainly from your promotion from the exotics, it seemed like you were explaining why you were breeding them more
Right,
than you were promoting the dogs.
right. So it was, I was just out of character. I was out, I was not in my comfort zone.
Yeah, you turned it to money, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. You did. You was like, listen, man, this paid for this paid for that, this paid for this. And I'm like, I was sitting there like, I was feeling you though, but I'm like, shit, Remy to this? I'm like,
no. So that happened. So then I just got out of dogs completely. Went for a couple of years. Then all of a sudden I was like, I kind of want to get back into breeding because I miss the dogs. But I didn't have a home now. I wasn't gonna bring back Remyline, that for me, that chapter, I'll always be Remyline, I'll always love it. But I wasn't gonna try to make Remyline dogs again.
yeah.
And I wasn't gonna go to the exotic side, and I wasn't gonna change like the breed like into like poodles or Dalmatians or some shit like that. And then I saw the French bullies.
It was like, this shit got some cool structure and it kind of look exotic.
Right. Right. So I saw all that, and I was just kind of like, these little motherfuckers are making a lot of money too. Straight up. I was like, and I know nothing about Frenchies, nothing. So I did my little research. I came up with Yeti, and Yeti, man, he's not the color, because he's a chocolate trindle. They're all in DNA in Frenchie world.
Yeah.
But that motherfucker was just bully as fuck. And it was like, yo. And then I was like, I'm rolling with Yeti. This is what I'm rolling. Because when I see him, when people see him, they're just like, damn, dude, that fool he's just a bull. He looks more like a bully than a Frenchie, Yeah. So I went with that. And then, like I said, I've been looking for, I have some Remyline stuff, but it wasn't what I wanted to show. And I kept looking for a certain dog I want. And then I've always liked Mike's stuff. I bought dogs from him before. And then he called me. He's like, yo, I got a dog for you. And I'm just like, let me see him. And I saw that fucker, and I was like, yo, I picked him up about 2 days later, named that bitch Jerry Maguire. Show me the money, Jerry Maguire.
So, hey, for the people that's on here that been following Fabian, the Remyline, and all of that, and I really want you guys to answer this. Do you guys think he should get back into the bullies, man? Do you guys think he can come back and help with the progress of the American bully? And I really want to know you guys' honest answer, especially for you guys who are struggling with the way that the community is going.
Well, can I answer it on my part? I can't help with the progress of the American bully. And the reason why I say that is all I could do is be an example, and whoever wants to take that. But as of trying to come in and show stuff, bro, I'm not gonna be. I'm a rap. I listen to a lot of rap, and I'm not gonna be those artists.
Hey, I see. You was naming all the new artists. I know you be over there slapping.
And I gotta respect Dr. Dre about one thing. He made his money, and he said, I'm gonna stay in the back and build from there. But I'm gonna put other faces out there, So for me, I've already had that stage. I don't need to be in the stage no more. But I want people to always, now when they look at me now, they're gonna be like, man, at the end of the day, dude, that dude went from Remyline. He has a successful Frenchies. He's now fucking with the bullies again. One thing about Fabian, man, he's always gonna have heat, and he's always gonna have
stuff. Don't leave out the exotics. Don't leave out the exotics.
Well, when I say bullies, because I don't really know what an exotic is, big dog.
Yeah, I can't even answer that, bro.
Right.
It's look,
right.
The more
extreme. Yeah, but when you say a look, what is the look? Because when you think about it, they say balls, smashed in muzzle. You feel me? Short back, no tail, but tail preferred. But that can come in a 16-inch dog or 17-inch dog too. So is that dog still exotic?
No, well, I mean, you got to look at these registries. They have now custom their customize their registration to meet that extreme bullies or extreme, say they're micros when they got the they're so wide, you know, they really can't walk properly because the bows or even the knots or whatever they call it. So it's just the look on it. It's still just a micro bully or a micro bully.
And my market that I'm in aren't going to be exotic buyers, you know, or maybe they are. But from what I see, is I'm never going to change functional dogs. I'm never ever going to sacrifice that, bro. So I don't want to be, because when you say I breed clean exotics or I breed functional exotics, that's not what exotic people want to hear.
Right.
So saying that is just pretty much saying you ain't making money in the exotic world. So I'm gonna just say, well, no, that's not the reason why you're breeding clean exotic and they're not selling, because that's not what the exotic people want.
Right. They want the extreme look version, the most freakiest one version you can get.
Right. So people gotta stop trying to clean up the exotic. It's called exotic for a reason. Exotic means doing some weird shit and making something exotic, and just leave it at that. Now, if you want to breed, functional bullies that are more on the extreme side, cool. Breed functional bullies more than
just versions.
Yeah, but don't try to and this is just Fabian's opinion, bro. This isn't like, this is just how my head thinks. So for me, I like the exotic look. I like seeing them stuff. It's pretty dope. I personally can't own one. I want that look on something that can hang on a fucking rope.
Yeah.
And the person that makes that, he has a buyer right here.
Yeah, and Romy doing it.
Yeah, I see 5150 as an American bully. I don't see him as an exotic.
Oh,
okay. He has no exotic features to me. He's a clean, he's a well-structured.
He's had slight elbows.
Yeah, but it's I can see for people that want now we can say, what is the American bully? It doesn't end, man. It's bottom line is you got to find your lane, because the end of the day is I think everyone in this game, they say it's about the dogs, but ain't nobody gonna give up their lives, their family, their wives. They can't do shit, picking up shit all day long, can't go on vacation unless they feel it's potential to make some money.
He say he most definitely can
so
inspire those still breeding.
Like with the American bully, what's the minimum height you think that they can go to, the smallest?
I think American bully should be no smaller than 16 inches.
What about the one on the border? Like,
but see, when
12, 13 inches, maybe like Golden Child.
But when you start talking about those dogs that are flirting with the line like that, those, you got to understand, the pocket, bottom end of the pocket is flirting with dwarfism. So that's why a lot of those bad genetics come in more with the pockets than anything. The more the easty, westy, the high rear, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I could build anything from a standard dog. I can't build anything from a pocket. I can't build anything from an extreme dog. So for me, a perfect dog to me is something that could create different things. When you're too short or too cobby or too short back, just because you know what I'm saying, it's easier to take a bigger dog and bring it down than to take a little dog and bring it up.
And that's probably why George Soto is still winning. When you look at his yard, I mean, it's right there. I think personally, it's right there in your face. If you look at some of the bigger breeders, the bigger breeders don't have 8-inch dogs, 9-inch dogs. But their dogs can produce it bred correctly.
The bigger a little 8-inch feet. First of all, having a female that small, you're lucky if you're getting puppies, and if you do get puppies, it's just hard, So that whole a bigger female is what you always want if you're trying to breed dogs and have puppies, But then you sell those little ones for big money because it's something you could talk about. But a true breeder,
height or big or length as well.
I think not more in height, more in length, so they could carry dogs. I think females should be a little longer, but the guys want their females to look like males. So people got to separate Am I breeding to make money, which is okay, but own it, or am I breeding for myself? Most people will say, "Well, I breed for what I like." No, you don't, because you're stuck with dogs. Stop it. Stop it. You,
Yeah.
and the people that breed for what they like has a ranch. They live out in the freaking country. They got acres. Then you can breed for what you want. But when I see you living in LA and you tell me you're breeding for what you want, you can't, because we don't have the space. You don't. So if you're gonna breed for money, you can't help but try to make the lilacs and try to put a little bit elbow on there and try to this, because that's just the reality of what this game is. So I think it's important to have. I just think people, before they even do anything, they need to just really know, what am I really trying to do? Because if you're trying to get the bag, go get the bag. Own it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I really believe that if you're producing good dogs and your marketing and everything is together and your promotional skills, I believe you're gonna get to the bag.
Well, see, the bag comes in many different types of bags. Because
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. You sell a puppy for $2,500. I don't give a fuck if you're rich, poor, or nothing. That's still a lot of money for a puppy. You got 6 puppies, and let's say at 2,000, right? That's what's that? 6, 12. What's that? Shit. That's shit. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 12. That's
Well,
$12,000.
and you have a lot of people out here that's sitting over there with 25 females, you feel me, breeding the studs
So
and then selling all the puppies for $2,000,
right,
$2,500.
it's like, yeah, get 40, whatever. That's fine, but 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 is still a lot of money for a lot of people. And
Well,
people.
hey, but on social media, man, you know how that go. 2,000, 2,500 ain't nothing. Everybody rich on here.
But listen, if I said to you, big dog, come pick this $2,000 up, you'd be like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. I don't care how rich you are. For doing what? For you have some puppies for something you're going to be doing anyways. So it's just, I think you got to find the lane you want. If you're trying to sell puppies for $30,000, $40,000, you're not breeding a Remy type of dog. It's not going to happen. You're not breeding a Gotti type of dog. You're never going to sell something like that for $40,000. You might find that one fancier, out there. So you got to first say, what level of money am I trying to make? Because you ain't gonna come in and breed these functional dogs and sell. It's not gonna happen. It's just, it can happen, but it's a hard process, bro.
I mean, if
So when
somebody
you
sells it,
so
oh,
when
go
you
ahead.
talk the back, right? The longer females, are you trying to match up the males with shorter backs to them? I mean, because don't you think
Okay, so the way I the
you'll
way I
get back males too?
the way I breed and the way I look at dogs and the way I choose dogs is, I only go for pedigree from stuff that I produce forward, because pedigree, to me, I can't trust any pedigree that anybody has. Not saying that people are doing shit. I didn't see it, and I ain't gonna trust a damn paper. But what I can trust is something called the eye test, right? And the eye test
Mm,
says, okay, that dog has a big head, my female has a small head. That dog has a long back, my female has a small back. That dog is, that's my eye test, and also what I like. And then I try to do some research. Say, okay, what has this dog been producing consistently? He has a big head. Is he throwing the head? Perfect. Not he's throwing the head. The body's the shit, but he's throwing the head. So then I take how I put my breedings together for the type of puppy I want, based off of the female that I have, not
right.
based on the male, because I'm expecting the male to give me one feature. Most males are gonna throw one thing that's their distinct. Remy used to throw that head and personality, you know. And some dogs are gonna throw the chest, you know. Dax wasn't a head dog, but he threw that girth, you know, and he threw a big head, but was a little bit more snipier,
Yeah.
you know. So it I prefer a little longer in length female, because, like I said, is the stud I would choose will definitely be a little shorter back, um, in that pen. But I want a female to carry puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I had bought a little 9-inch female, at a show, and when she walked in, everybody was on the dog. I mean, a big crowd around the dog. So I'm like, man, I need that. Bought the dog, and then once that adrenaline kind of cooled down when I got home and all of that, I looked at the dog. I'm like, man, I can't breed this dog. You feel me? Like, this dog is too little. It's just
Right.
too little, and people don't understand what a true 8, 9, 10-inch dog really is. I mean, especially to carry puppies.
And you can't even take any dog to that small dog because those puppies will kill her. They'll explode her. I mean, you can't just take some big dog to some little 9-inch dog. You
Yeah.
know. So I mean, I love this stuff because it's like I love the new generation because they're doing a lot of things and making a lot more, and they're taking the dog game to another level. Just like, when Magic was making $1 million, now these guys are making 140 million. And so those guys got to look at these guys and say, man, wow, like we started this, but look where it's at now. You know what I'm saying? Look at
So,
the moves.
so this, as a matter of fact, this is a good question for you. A lot of dogs that made an imprint in the game was almost like the first of their look, like when you had your Remy's, your
Correct.
guys, you feel me, and all of that. Where do you think the game can go to now? What new look or color? And I want you to kind of describe a dog maybe that you feel.
I'm gonna tell you the dogs that I like, and this is in every categories. Like I said, I like what Khan is doing with the bigger style type of dogs. You know, I like that devil spit dog. I think he's pretty dope. I like Crown. I think Crown is pretty dope. On the exotic side, if you want to go that route with it, I think, and I'm gonna say Remy, but I'm just saying that because that's what I know, right? I think those dogs now have to come back, like we were talking about, all those lilacs and so forth have to come back to the black dog. So where do I think it's gonna go? Real talk, B. I will never say. Every time you think you're at the top, then here comes John Morant. You know what I'm saying? Here comes John Morant, Duncan, doing all the time. When you thought there was a Durant, there's, when there was Jordan, now there was, to the point I'm trying to make is it is going to change. And I think the exotic movement is the more dominant movement. I think that's where the game has gone because we went from pit bulls to American bullies. And now the American bullies have to accept it's the exotic. The
Yeah, because
question,
like I tell people, what made the American bully big so fast was all the hate from the pit bull community.
absolutely.
And then what? And then now, when the exotics come along, you got the American bully community and the pit bull community hating on the exotics. So it just blew up that fast. And then
But
when the nanos came, now you got the exotics and the American bully and the pit bull community. So everything is
right.
just going fast because of the hate.
I think it's all going to evolve to something we've never seen, but the dogs have to get healthier because that movement that those dogs are going to die off. At some point, you can't be buying a dog that's living 3 to 4 years. So
Yeah.
what's going to happen is guys from the American Bully, guys from the Pit Bulls are going to now come into that world and have their old stuff and really start to now kind of tweak it. And that's why I said is all those things you always have to go back in your past. You go look how many rap songs go back in the past for their just for the hook. They
Man,
go back in the past just for the beat.
they be stealing whole verses.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally you have to always go back to keep you going forward. So
So
I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. What's gonna ruin it though is the flashing of the money, because now you have a lot of entities are looking into this game that before we didn't have to worry about. Now you can't have people come to your house no more. Now you got to go to the show with your crew. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because it's now become more of like it's like you remember lowrider cars were like real cool, but now lowrider cars is about the girls, about you going there and posting up with your da 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 da. It's more about now the lifestyle than the dogs.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I had a low rider and my truck got stolen before.
okay,
Back in the
yeah.
90s.
But I love seeing the change. I love seeing the growth. And I just got to figure out because I'm 50 now, B. I got to figure out where this 50-year-old could still kind of, make a
Yeah,
little
between
something.
the both of y'all, it's about 110 years on here, bruh.
So it's like
No, I'm up there with y'all. I'm 42. No, 41. 41.
but that's what I focus on is I still want to be relevant of where the world is at. I don't want to be relevant from back in the day when you were Remyline.
You
Thanks
want
for
to
the
know
respect.
something? No, you can't help that. No matter what you do, I don't care if you create another top dog. You're always going to be
Right.
really like you can't
And
get
I
up from
and
under
I
that.
and I can and I'll always love that and respect that. But in the same token, as I still want to be moving forward. I want to be evolving. So if I go to a show, I'm not walking in with some prehistoric animal. I'm coming in with like the new stuff in my version of it.
Yeah.
Well, see that's where I am really.
Mm-hmm.
Rob and I go back and forth. Jimmy work and I go back and forth. And I go to a lot of shows. I still don't know or have narrowed down the ideal. My lane. My
Right.
I can't get rid of dogs because I love dogs. Period. I love
Right.
the environment, going to the shows. I love being around the dogs, but I just got to find my style.
Right.
And so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I think every dog, man, and this gonna happen to you too, big dog, is you'll come to a point, and this just comes with age, where it's like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
actually having more fun now because I really don't give a fuck about what anybody else is saying because I'm happy with the dogs I got. I'm breeding what I want to breed. And
exactly.
it's just a grown man place, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
everyone gets there at some point where it's like, but when you're young and you're trying to get known and promote your dog, you're at the shows, you're like woo woo beating doo doo, you're in controversy, it's all that shit's going on. When you get old, you start to sit back and just look at all that shit and let them young bucks do that, and then you just kind of come in and
Well, see, and I think that's why now, like, I'm kind of drifting over more into the English bulldog community. And like I tried to tell Three Amigos, like we did a live one day, right? And my exotics are dope, functional and the whole shit. But everybody, they got this to say about the exotic, that to say about the exotic. And I told Three Amigos, out of all the shit they talk, you notice they did not one time mention my English bulldog. You feel me? I mean, it just seems like there's more peace and profit in the English bulldog and French bulldog community.
no, it is. It is. Like I came in a French bulldog, and there is a lot of profit. Now I'm learning their issues and their little fights that they have or whatever. It's kind of funny because they got their own shit going on. But in the same token, as I could walk in the road with these little dogs, and I don't need the bully world as my buyers.
Yeah, and also it's like when you come from all of the shit that comes with the bully community to walk into the Frenchie game, it's like this is what you guys are fighting over.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Like
It's
somebody wanted to kill me a couple of years
yeah, for
ago.
sure. Like so I like that part of it. But what I can't say is once you're a bully, man, it's not even. I'm not even say a bully. I'm saying once you're a pit man, because to me that's where it all originated from. Once you're a pit dude, it's you can love every other dog, but ain't nothing like that dog. Like that dog swinging in that rope. Nothing. It just does it for me, bro. Like
yeah,
that's my thing. You know.
Yeah, see, I don't care what kind of dog I breed. If it won't bite your ass, I don't want it. I mean, straight up. Period. I just don't want exotic or not. Hey, I don't care if you take 4 steps or your last breath, you better bite this motherfucker.
Right. To you. And we all got we all got our things, you know. I know Three Amigos got his things. Like when I have a dog, it just has to. This is what I like. Whether it's
yeah,
physical, personality, everybody has to have that, you know.
exactly.
So
It's
it's
kind it's kind of hard. I see the dogs. I love working dogs. Like you say, I love working dogs. I love seeing the dogs run 50 yards, 100 yards down the field to attack. I can't do that no more. So, it's hard. But I'm kind of more on the I kind of like maybe a 10 or 11-inch micro bully. I
and
look,
that's gotta be they're super. I think they're badass looking. I mean,
yeah,
how do you not like this little fucker that's muscled up with a little big head, just walking like a little Mike Tyson? I mean, how do you not like that?
Well, see, my problem is
yeah.
this: 98% of
But
them don't.
it doesn't go in. It doesn't fit into the market right now like you were saying, it doesn't fit in the market.
Well, my problem, like I said, the majority of them don't look like that. Honestly, the majority of these little dogs have no bone. You feel me? It's almost like this. The dog weighs 8 pounds. How could it not have muscles?
I know, but,
You,
but Robert, at the end of the day, there's a huge market, and the reason why it's huge, we wouldn't be talking about it. And it's like, it doesn't matter what we think. That's just where the game is at, man.
bro, like,
Yeah,
and I said this, Three Amigos. I told you at some point you have to decide whether you're going to be the business or you're going to be the consumer. And you feel me? And the consumers want the little dogs. The businesses
yeah,
don't have them.
right.
You feel me? They don't even have them, but their
Yeah,
dogs can produce them for the consumers.
but it's not for the consumers to know how the businesses is selling these dogs, or what the secrets are.
Yes.
So when I'm producing badass females, but the bitch that's producing them looks like a fucking train, that's none of their business, because the product they got is what's making them keep buying.
Yeah, see, I be exposing game. I be telling people, but nobody listens to me anyway, so I don't give a shit.
Well,
But you know, the thing, when I'm looking at it, and Robert, I spoke about this yesterday, today, whatever. But you take a dog, you say it looks like a train, right?
mm-hmm.
I'm thinking you're referencing the length.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long back Betty.
The thing is, in my mind, you got to take an extremely short, compact dog, short back dog to work to get that what the consumers are wanting.
You do, but
You're not going to get a whole litter of
right, but keep this in mind too. So, I mean, let me put it in a human standpoint. So, you have a brother or sister?
2 brothers, yeah.
Okay, you have 2 brothers, right? So let's say you and your 2 other brothers had a baby with the same woman,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
you and your 2 brothers came from the same dad and same mom.
They could be totally different children. I know.
Totally different children. So hold on. So let's say you have a dog that's a little bit longer than what people like, right? And her sisters are fine as fuck.
Right.
Beautiful. She's the little ugly duckling in it. And then her sisters got married and their kids look like shit. And the ugly duckling got married, producing some beautiful kids. Because it's the same blood, but we all are going to take from our parents. My sister is going to have different traits in her that she took from my parents, and I took some other traits.
Correct.
So it's not that you go out there looking for longer dogs or so forth. At the end of the day, you always, for me, when I'm buying a dog, I want to see the brothers and sisters. Are you because your kids are I guarantee if you have children, you can say, you know what, my kids kind of look like my brother, my sons.
I look dead on my uncle.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
but back then, shit, who knows what happened with that?
like my daughter looks just like my sister, bro. My sister, not my mom, not my dad. So we don't get caught up on just that appearance of the dog. It really comes down to what's that dog producing. Then you're gonna say, well, Fable, how am I supposed to know what that dog's producing? Well, you're not. You're gonna hope that based on what you think or feel, and then you got a breeder.
Educated guess.
So that's why these guys that are producing great dogs, they've kind of did their work with that dog already, So it's as a consumer, we think we're just gonna buy a pretty dog, have pretty puppies. Nah, you're gonna find out your best stuff is gonna come your second time breeding that female or that third time.
Or third, yep.
Yeah, because you're gonna be like, dude, everything she threw, she dominates. So your badass stud ain't gonna do shit for me. And I need a feature because all of the puppies this bitch throws, they look just like fucking her. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's why you got to get you a badass bitch, man. Because like I said, when I did my breeding, and I told Three Amigos this, when I did my breeding with my dog Oreo, when I seen the stud in person, he was like a quarter version of her with a better head. So I was like, listen, I don't care who they look like or if they are in between. I'm going to be satisfied with that.
Right.
And I think that's where people need to get to, create that bitch and breed it to a stud where you will be satisfied with the tweeners. And if you can be satisfied with the tweeners, I mean, I think you.
But now we're talking, but we're talking breeders talk now.
Yeah.
And breeders talk now and business talk is two total different things. Because the consumers aren't breeders.
Right.
Because breeders rarely go and buy dogs. Because if they're a real breeder, they know other breeders and they trade or work or this and that.
Yeah.
But if you're a breeder, you're not really
That's
shopping.
from.
You know, if you keep shopping and buying dogs, you're trying to buy dogs to sell dogs. You're not breeding. You know, so everything we're saying is like, okay, so having that bad bitch is it bad physically or is it a bad bitch producer?
Yeah.
Two total, everybody wants the beautiful looking dog and also produces phenomenal. How many badass bitches you've seen and the puppies don't look like shit?
Yep.
Oh, a lot. That's because they don't know how to breed.
Right. So it's kind of it's a whole bunch of different. I don't know, man. It's this shit is chess, not checkers, man.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I feel it. All right. Hey, do anybody else have any more questions? Any questions coming from anybody? This is your last chance. We got Mr. Remyline. I'm sorry. We have Fabian.
You good?
We have
Big dog.
Fabian on the live. Any more questions coming from anybody before we wrap this up? For the people that's on here, like I said, if you want a link to everybody that was on the live so you can check out the dogs or maybe tap into their inbox, hit one of the comments, you will receive a link, man. For the people that's still on here, give it 5 more shares for everybody that's on here. But if you guys have any questions, man, y'all got about a couple more seconds. You feel me, to drop your questions and we can get them answered. If not, we are going to wrap this up until next time.
For sure.
Well, I appreciate you, Rip, there, Fabian, for all
You
your
too,
information.
man. You too. It was fun.
Yeah.
All right, hey.
Don't be a stranger.
Salute to every. Oh, till next time, fellas.
All right, yo.